Yo, what's going on, y'all? You checking out the ProQuo Show, and I believe ProQuo, well, let's say the Quo of ProQuo is checking in from Miami. He's checking in from Florida. I can't believe he's actually even doing the show. He's a beast like that. What up?
West Palm Beach, baby. I got
What?
the beach behind me, and I got the pool, and but we can't miss the ProQuo
I
Show.
hear it sounds like there's a party going on back there, though.
Yeah,
What are
we
we
got a
hearing?
little party going on. We got some background music. We still got the fam chilling. You know, they're having a great time. This is how we get down, though. This is how we get down. But yeah, it was a
Yo,
beautiful day because yesterday I was wearing a sweater, and today I got to be in a t-shirt. 72 degrees out right now, and
checking in at
tomorrow
72.
morning,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be in the brisk New England weather tomorrow morning. So
Hmm.
it's gonna be a fun thing.
Yeah. So what was the vacay overall? How many days did you do? Would you do like a little 3 day, 5 day? What'd you do?
Yes, it was more or less.
Yeah, he's really enjoying the vacay because he's breaking
Um,
up. So you're breaking up a little there, Jay, but it's all good. We'll look at you. We'll be thinking, living vicariously through you, knowing you're having that vacay. So it'll be more of the pro show, and it'll be the ProQuo show until Quo could check in. But when he gets back, I'm gonna let him know that I doubled down on the holiday festivities here. So I had to double down, man. I had to do it. I had to. This is a massive tree, and Jay and I we went live last night. We did the Pro Quo promo show, and I had this here, and I told him I was gonna reveal. It sounded kind of weird. I said I'm gonna reveal how large it is, and it was Jay's like laughing. I couldn't figure it out till I listened back, and I was like, I missed the double entendre. But I was talking about the tree, and the tree is literally this big, but it looked massive last night. It was sitting there, and just the angle that it was at, it looked like this massive tree had taken over the room. At least I thought it looked pretty massive. And I got the wife's wreaths back there. She does the wreaths, so I have to, make sure that I'm representing properly. Actually, she doesn't even ask. I just go down and I'm like, can I take a wreath? You know what I'm saying? I need the wreath. I need the holiday festivities going on. Jay Cruz, you're back, man. You back.
I'm. The Wi-Fi keeps kicking me off, my
Yeah,
dude.
man. You gotta be hardwired for this stuff, man. You gotta. Yeah, I understand. You're doing the vacay life. This is like a bonus, just having you here, man. This is like a bonus. So I'm just thrilled that you actually came in, man. That's big. That's big. So Jay Cruz,
I didn't hear anything you said, but I saw the expression, and I'm saying, you know what? Yes. So my
cool.
people, look at if you can't get Jay the whole night, I'm gonna be tuning in, but I'm gonna try and keep trying to stay on with y'all. I know we got two amazing guests coming on tonight, and I would really love to chop it up with them. But if my Wi-Fi will not allow me to, it's because I'm on vacay and I'm chilling next to the beach. You know what I mean? So,
I
but
hear you,
anyway,
man.
let's see what happens. We don't know.
We'll see
I
what
don't know.
happens.
We'll see.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what?
we'll
We
see.
got our ace in the hole, man, because we got Don Juan in the place to be, and I'm gonna do some magic knocking pretty soon, and I'm hoping that I can get my man Don Juan to come out. So you think you want to knock? You want to try knocking?
Let me try.
All right, you try. See if you got the
We're gonna
touch.
go.
Oh, you did it.
Oh, snap!
Oh
Something
snap!
happened.
Oh man!
It worked. We can't have that Jay Cruz banner up there anymore. I was honoring Jay Cruz with that. I was like, Jay Cruz is checking in. What up, Don Juan?
Hey, what happening, Pro and Quo, man? My favorite guys of the week, no doubt, man. You guys are hot, man.
We just try to follow your lead, man. We just, we follow from the big dogs. You know what I mean? Hip hop citizens. What are you? Are you hip hop citizens CEO, CFO? Are you everything? Are you what are you, man? We've never spoken on that.
I don't know. We're all co-collaborators, I guess.
I see.
It's the word I go by, co-collaborator.
Because a lot of people don't know. I don't think we ever gave you a proper due. So we wanted to have you come up tonight, and I'm glad you were able to stop by. So we wanted to let people know that put the name to the face who maybe haven't seen your show, who've just been coming in on our show, and we know that's probably a small amount of people, but this is the man behind the scenes right here. This is Don Juan DeMac. He is a part of Hip Hop Citizens, a big part of Hip Hop Citizens, and we started out. I did an interview on his show. One thing led to another, so we're happy to be up here and be doing the ProQuo Show, man. So thanks for having us, as always.
Man, the ProQuo Show is a welcome addition to Hip Hop Citizen all around the world. And and thank you for bringing your fans along with us as well.
Yeah. True indeed.
Cocaine. Shout out to Cocaine too.
Cocaine is in the cocaine capital right now. He's he's down there. He's down there re-upping or something. I don't know. No, he's living that life, man. He's living that. We got a song called Baggage Claim, and he's just trying to show what baggage claim is all about, you know.
Hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to Angela Fields. I see you, Ma. Thank you for the shout out. We appreciate it.
Yeah. What did she write? She's right. Juan Mac is everything. Is that what it said?
I don't know. We all love Angela. I think she's just throwing things out there. And she says a big shout out to Jay Cruz. Another one for Jay Cruz.
There you go. Jay Cruz is representing difficultly, you know, to say the least. He's gonna be coming back to some wonderful New England weather. So
yeah, the wind must be blowing up there, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yo, we got a couple guests coming up here tonight. Don Juan, I think they may be new to you. They're definitely not new to me, and I'm thrilled that they're able to come through, man. So we got my man Mighty Ceej, who is an MC. And speaking of New England and that cold weather, Mighty Ceej is repping down at the Cape, man. So, you know, you are a real trooper if you're in the Cape these times of year. You know, most people think of the Cape in like the nice summer. You know, you go down there. I've been down there to where they chill out on the beach, man. They do hip hop down there for people that think it's just about, you know, Boston or some of the other cities, man. They represent down there at the Cape. And Ceej, he's a frontline medical professional, man. So that's, you know, we always dabbling and talking about that kind of stuff too. So it's great to have somebody like him up there. So shout outs to all the people that are.
Absolutely. Big shout out to all of our frontline workers.
Yeah.
We need you and we definitely love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man. I went in today. I had my, you know, because I'm flying home tomorrow. So we went down the street. Literally, I walked across the street. We did our COVID test. We're going to get the results back before we fly. And, you know, when you're traveling, obviously, into these conditions, you have to take those precautions and make sure you do it. So it's cool they offer the 24-hour thing, though, if you got the email. But these guys, man, they're putting their lives on the line every day. And it's amazing. And we definitely applaud them. So Ceej, it's going to be cool having him up on here, man.
Absolutely. And we also got my man, the RapOet, man. So Suffice, big up to Self. Self's going to be coming through as well. Self's another MC. You know, and one of the themes you've probably been seeing with a lot of the people that we have up, people do, you know, more than one thing, you know what I mean? So, you know, we talk about people's passion, you know, and the passion, sometimes we talk about the side hustle. And, you know, Jay and I have this conversation all the time. We talk about the side hustle is really the full-time other thing that a lot of people are doing, you know, that are really deep into the hip hop. It isn't the hip hop. That's the lifestyle. That's the culture. And, you know, Suffice really represents that, man. He lives the culture. He lives, he's like an activist, educator, hip hop personality, talent, you know, a writer, all that, you know. So I met him.
Awesome.
I met him when I came out here in DC, and we were able to collab on a couple of things, not on tracks, but on you know, similar shows and events that we were in. So he's the man, and we'll get to hear more about him as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the people.
Man. I just hope my Wi-Fi holds out. What I'm gonna do, y'all, just as a pre-note, I'm gonna mute myself and turn my cam off as they come in, and then I'll come in when I can hear things, because otherwise I'm, you know,
well,
bugging things down.
I hear you. So we better get, there's something we better get to, Jay. We started talking about it last night then, and I think we got to let Don Juan understand too. The real question that we were having last night, we were saying, you know what? A lot of times we call our unofficial sponsors by the wrong name. Sometimes we call them the unofficial, official sponsors. And for those of y'all who don't know, Jay, I don't know who the unofficial or official sponsor is tonight. I don't even know what tag we're going with, but we have to make the decision tonight because it's getting too confusing. Yeah. You want to talk to him about the theory, man? Or
I like it. I think that we need to start saying the official, unofficial sponsors.
Because you need to be official in everything you do.
You have to. That's the fun line, man.
Even in your unofficialness, you want to be official at it, right?
Because what you start with is what you end with. So if you start with official, it's gonna come to fruition, right?
Now I have an unofficial sponsor who might make the claim for official unofficial sponsor with me right now. It's right here, or the company's right here. Do y'all want to see the company, or
bring it up?
All right, man. So it's a favorite of mine. You know, if you were rocking with us back from the beginning, you know, back in the beginning days, you know that I get down with Cheez-Its. But not just regular Cheez-Its, man. I get down with reduced fat Cheez-Its, man. So when I want to feel healthy, when I'm really not being healthy, I have some kind of like, it lets me go to bed just a little bit easier because I feel like I was eating that reduced fat. Now, we could probably talk to Ceej more about the health content and how ridiculously awful this actually is for me, but I feel a little bit better on the scale after I put away, a little bit of this box. And I'm not saying I eat the whole box, but I do eat a good amount of the box. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
Yeah,
you
man.
know what's so funny, Pro, is you know how sometimes you might have that one friend and when they take their shoes off, you're like, yo, you
dog.
about to wreck my house,
Oh,
right?
dog, I know that.
That's the word. Or if like you're cooking fish and it's just like, yo, I gotta get that. The most official sponsorship, that's unofficial, but it could be official. Oh, let's turn that around. Would be
What is that?
The Yankee Candle. Could you see
Oh,
it?
Yankee Candle all day, dog.
Yo, come on. That's
I only think
beautiful.
about Yankee Candle at the holidays, man, to be real with you.
Yeah, when you get that cinnamon, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The holiday sense. But reality is year round, especially if you got a girl, people, you got your girl, and you know, they like the cologne. Get yourself some Yankee Candles up in the house, and it's just like as good as having perfume and cologne on.
See, and I feel that's more official. I feel the Yankee Candle is more the official, unofficial sponsor, and Cheese is just trying to get in the cut.
Especially from being from New England, the Yankee.
Yeah, man, it just goes with the theme. I mean, we got some New England cats up here today, so
yeah.
So, anyways, man, I mean, that's who's the official. Then that's what we're going with, the official. Unofficial sponsor.
Don, you got to turn your mic on. I can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I was going to add that, since we're doing the official and unofficial sponsor as well, I also have one that's also in the lines of breath mints.
Oh, really? What are you holding back on us?
Breath
well,
mints.
During the holidays, it's traditionally peppermint, right? If you're going to be hugging and kissing, but because it's COVID and it's coronavirus and maybe kissing is not the good thing. So my official sponsor, unofficial sponsor, is going to be the Pringle potato chips.
Oh, wow.
Woo.
All right.
Not just the Pringles, it's the ranch.
It is.
To make your breath smell really minty fresh.
Chips that make your breath smell fresh. That is a move, man. If they can just brush your teeth at the same time too. I would just have that before I go to bed and be good.
And then we got to bring Kath on here to talk about the strips.
Oh man, absolutely. Is Kath coming through? What's up with Kath?
I was having so much trouble. Maybe not tonight because of the last minute.
I thought you were trying to make an announcement. I love hearing the party vibe behind you too. By the way,
I'm trying. I'm staying on the mute, but we got. I told my people. I said, "No, y'all chill. I'm here with my daddy, my pops, and my Gigi, my mom." My kids is chilling. We having a good time. And I was like, no, this is the vibe. The whole crew's here, man.
It's the weekend. It's the vibe. And you and vacay, man. We're glad to have you, Pro. And Jay.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Say, it's good to see your face up here, too, man. I like this.
We got it. I think without further ado, man, we're going to have to get my man Ceej up here. So could we get, I don't know how are we able to knock when you're in front of us? Like, I don't know how that works, Don Juan. Oh, we lost you. We lost your mic. See, I'm knocking you out.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I think we could try it. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. I don't know.
See, I love being able to give it kind of worked. We definitely don't have the official, unofficial sponsorship on the sound effect. But there he is. What's good, Mighty Ceej? We have you on mute. Sorry about that. I mute you. There you go. You better. I think you better. Say what's up.
No, we still ain't hearing him.
He's got a good smile though. That's all that matters.
He does.
He's got a good smile. Don Juan, I got him muted in mute land, but he's not muted, man. I don't know how we're doing that to him.
I'm not sure. Ceej, go ahead and give us a check in. Okay.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna work on Ceej for a second here. Let's go ahead and let's get him straight in a second here. Let me see if it works something out.
He's so mighty. He's so mighty that we muted his mic. He's so powerful. I don't actually know how we muted his mic, but we did. I think I might have to play some Mighty Ceej in the meantime. So I was digging for some Mighty Ceej behind me.
That sounds like a good idea, bro.
Jay, speaking of the tracks, man, were you listening to some of the tracks I was trying to send you today?
No, not yet, unfortunately. But they are in the inbox, and I will check them ASAP for sure because I know it's gonna be heat.
I was trying to get you the new hotness, but you know what I mean?
I got three different ones I'm going through from what I can tell. Yeah.
I updated a lot, man. So
this kid, and look, when Pro updates, it's not an update. It's like a whole, renovation.
I go for it.
He just knocked the building down, built you the Eiffel Tower. I'm like, bro, I thought Nah, man, this dude is on another level.
It's trying, man. So I'm gonna play because I don't have everything in front of me right now from Mighty Ceej. I'm gonna play a track actually we did together
Okay.
back a bit. This was like 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago, back in the day. And so Ceej has been putting out albums, album after album, project after project. I know he's been really consumed, obviously, with the state of the world right now too. So that's obviously a precedent in his life at this moment. So let you hear something we did. If hopefully y'all can hear this and I can bring it in pretty decently. So it is a track from, well, Ghost in the Machine is what it's called. And I'm going to try to get this up for y'all right now. Let's see what y'all can hear and what y'all think about this. Little Mighty Ceej.
When the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
What happened to the consent of those governed? I represent, I'm content with the whole other. For my patriotism, you never heard a man. Got many uncles, but none of them are absurd as Sam. So-called Christians, so-called conservatives, dirty politicians, a warpath that's murderous. They call dead women and children collateral damage. Bomb entire nations, step I leave them battered and famished. Crooked cats that suffer from a Cold War hangover. Military, industrial complex, games over. Go out, spend a little time in the streets, and you'll find the vast majority of people just want peace. But question foreign policy, and they say that's un-American. Don't listen to the newscast, listen to the veterans. I know plenty of them, my boys have toured the Middle East, and I got PTSD and get very little sleep. I got love for y'all, the brave that are now enduring pain. I give you all of my respect, your work will never be done in vain. The combat soldiers that fight wars will never like them, and the dirty politicians that wage them will never fight them. What happened to the consent of those governed? I represent, I'm content with the whole other. For my patriotism, you never heard a man. Got many uncles, but none of them are absurd as Sam. What happened to the consent of those governed? I represent, I'm content with the whole other. For my patriotism, you never heard a man. I got many uncles, but none of them are absurd as Sam. I can see that the government cheats, speak with a tongue in this cheek. We can become a unique people, rise up and be free. We go through life afraid to fight, more accustomed to flee. Mustn't concede another siege, you will suffer defeat. Sucking blood like a leech, we cannot run and retreat. Turn a new leaf and take the love that's been beneath. That's hard to take the leadership when the country it leads. Betray the soldiers that they breed for the oil they seize. Our tempers boil cause we've all been so spoiled from greed. And the depression instilled out the importance of weed. And as of late I have to say I've been forced to believe that the war on drugs is harder fought than the war overseas. We can't afford it, see the facts are important. Spend over $362 million in the course of a week. Locking the poor up, we can't laugh and ignore it. That's enough to provide every night a portion to eat. What happened to the consent of those governed? I represent content with the whole other. My patriotism, you never heard a man. Got many uncles, but none of them are absurd as Sam. What happened to the consent of those governed? I represent, I'm content with the whole other. For my patriotism, you never heard a man. I got many uncles, but none of them are absurd as Sam.
On shelves, printing internet, television, and magazines. Been around the country with plenty of porn and battle scenes. Made a little money, but money, none of it's flattering. Comparably when others are caking, but half is talented. Ain't even talking artists, it's labels, agents, and marketing. Promoting all these rappers through products they busy targeting. Who bothering researching YouTube or Google monopolies? Ironically, YouTube in itself is their own property. Fox is an oligopoly. Time to warn you what want to be when Disney is easy as ABC. If you follow me, GE is Universal, NBC is all.
I lost sound.
Yeah, I was killing that audio though. Sorry about that, but
Yeah,
I hope y'all got that.
it was only the last like little bit. Ceej, my
It was
man.
only when I was rapping, so it was the least important part.
Ceej, I
Yeah, you
applaud
missed the
those
Yeah.
best
bars,
part.
man. That's
That's all. It's all
no.
good, man.
That means
It's all
we
good.
all gonna have to go back and make sure you
That's right.
download that track to get
That's
the
right.
full
We're gonna have to
version.
put the link.
We only do
Yeah.
teasers here.
It's all
We-
free. It's all up there for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey y'all. Thanks for making it through, man. And I'm sorry about the little audio snafu, but we got you,
Oh,
man.
no worries. No worries.
Ceej,
Yeah, I'm
man.
here. It's good to be here.
Ceej, it's been a
It's good
minute
to be
since we
here.
last saw each other, man. I was down on your turf, man, but
No.
glad to have you up here, man. I know life has been crazy.
Shout out
I
Cape
can't
Cod.
even begin to
Yes.
imagine. Every day you in the grind,
Yeah,
man.
it's been a challenging year, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. So you are officially, you're a nurse? Is that what you are?
Yeah, emergency room nurse.
Emergency room nurse. God, wow. Okay. And where
Yeah.
are you at? Is that something you're able to say, or do you just say a place? Like,
I work down here. Yeah. I work in a hospital.
got you.
Local
That's good.
hospital.
That's good. Yeah. That's all you got to say.
A
Got you.
busy ER.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first met you, I didn't know that you were pursuing that path. I remember when you switched though. So what made you want to get into the pathway that you took?
Well, I was always big into science. I was always going to school, and then just balancing everything. And I was working. I'm bilingual, so I used to work as a medical interpreter, and I would work side by side with nurses, and kind of just had that light bulb moment where I figured out my path, based upon what I was interested in. So I kind of fell into it, which many people in my profession tend to do.
Now I'm guessing. That's crazy. I'm guessing that a lot of people in your profession are considering probably leaving the profession, right? Like it's got to be ridiculous for a lot of people. Has this made people more want to dig in, or like understandably get out? Like how's that?
Yeah, sadly, a lot of people have left. There's a lot of heavy emotions this year. It's been a tough year to be in this field, So anybody who was on the fence is hightailing out,
Yeah, my aunt.
It's tough,
Sorry, no, I was just saying my aunt's a nurse too, so I understand a lot of that, and my cousin as well. And I know it's crazy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I got a little bit of delay. Can you guys hear my mic okay? I switched to mic.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
you sounded good, bro.
I figured out you were dealing with
this sounds better. All right, cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I got rid of the other.
So speaking of Mike, so do the people you work with know you do what you do?
Yeah, eventually they all find out. Usually it's a secret at first, and somebody always knows. So.
So but
there's other people I work with involved in music, so.
It's like you, Jay.
I mean, it's out there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep that for too long, right? Like you be bobbing your head, writing rhymes in the corner,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
not hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all know about that. We all know about that life, man. So what's the last thing, speaking on the recording side, what's the last thing you've done? I mean, I'm sure this has kind of put some of your recording at maybe a little bit of a halt, or you're able to find time? Because for me, this is the biggest release, you know what I mean? So I've gone more in. Are you able to? You have it different, clearly, than I do, but.
I've gone more in on writing. I haven't recorded at all this year. I've been pretty isolated, given the situation of what I'm in and around every day. My contacts are very minimal outside of my house. So I haven't really gone anywhere, done very much. I'll take my family. We do nature stuff around here.
Yeah.
Take out. But for the most part, we're pretty locked down.
Yeah, I'm the same
since
way, man.
March,
I'm the same way.
So
I mean,
I haven't been in the studio.
Yep.
But I'm here. You see my records. I got my tables here. So
yeah, bro.
I'm always working. Man. I got a good record right here.
Oh, I know that record. Oh,
it's a hot one.
Yeah, man.
Hot one right there.
Mine's not getting spun. It's just sticking on my wall over there. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
No,
hey, Ceej, how long you been in the medical field?
What you say, Jay?
I've been nursing. I've been nursing for 6 years.
6 years.
And then prior to that, I was working as an interpreter, helping out in the immigrant community. People who don't speak English, they present into our environment, and you're an advocate, stay by their side, do the interpretations for the doctors and everything.
Yeah. How many cases of COVID do you think you're seeing on a daily?
Oh, we're seeing a lot right now on the Cape. Like today was like 82 of them today. Every day the numbers are way up. Our Barnstable has one of the highest positivity rates right now in the state. So it's been tough, because with people talk a lot about the numbers, but with the numbers always comes the hospitalizations and the people that get really sick. So, things kind of fall behind, first the numbers, then the hospitalizations, then the deaths, unfortunately.
I have a guess with Barnstable, but you tell me, like, is there something specific that would be driving Barnstable to be that high?
Well, it's just like any heavily populated area, Hyannis is in Barnstable, which is a lot like a city, has a lot of dynamics of a city, population of the city. So, anytime you got a lot of people living together, you just look globally. New York City was the epicenter, in Brazil, Sao Paulo, anywhere where there's a lot of people together, you're going to have widespread disease. And are
people still traveling
there's
there?
a lot of layers to it.
Are people still like heading there as a destination? Yeah, like people still trying.
We had a busy summer. We did, because you can really get outdoors here and do a lot of cool stuff. But luckily, the summer was nice for us. We kind of had a break, the medical community, from COVID. It was still here, but I think because people were doing more outdoor stuff, we weren't seeing a lot in the hospital, which was nice. Now we're just right back in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
arguably worse than the spring. It's worse than the spring.
I mean, Quo and I last night, we were talking, we were doing a little, just we're up here talking to each other. And, it's funny because we started the show kind of as an outgrowth of, COVID, as a lot of people do. You'll hear the RapOet too, speaking probably about similar things. Right. And as using, these kind of forums or whatever as a release. And you were talking about writing, and, we've been doing writing and music. We've been, relatively sheltered, same as you. I mean, Jay finally made the decision. He's like, look, I got to do something. We got to get out. We got to try to do this kind of safe vacay if there is such a thing. And, I'm always talking. I'm like, I'm not even that risky. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we think about it. We're like, what could we do? Like you said, nature, is there a place you can go, whatever. And we're relatively inside too. I mean, it's takeout now and then. And we didn't do takeout for like months. We weren't even trying to mess with takeout. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We weren't even like there yet. And so I have to say this too, just keeping it real, is like, I've known you for a while, and knowing your personality, this isn't the personality of the last time that I saw you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see that it's hit you. And, just talking like this, I mean, you're for people that don't know Ceej, he's a pretty upbeat dude. And you can tell that I can only imagine, dog, like having to go to work for this kind of thing every day. We were talking last night, like I'm not even a blood person, man. I can't even deal with that kind of stuff. And it takes a certain person type to be able to, want to help others in that capacity. But that's not what you signed up for. I mean, you didn't sign up for going in every day and having like, an epidemic. Yeah,
being a pandemic nurse is a little different than, it's not what anybody really signed up for.
That gets you the damn Medal of Honor.
Working in emergency medicine, you sign up for whatever's coming in. So, it's definitely something, if you don't have a passion for it, you're not gonna get into it. You're not gonna last long in it. It's very layered, so it's been hard on all of us, because it's not just taking care of sick people. It's dealing with the families. We don't allow people in the hospitals. It's pretty much statewide at this point, no visitors. Yeah. So you're like the in-between with the families, and it's a lot. It really is. It's been hard, I'm not going to lie.
No doubt.
It's great. A good family. I have a lot of supportive people.
Yeah, man. We were talking about,
huge.
Yeah, Jay, you know, we were talking about his family last night. Remember that
Yeah.
conversation we had, man? I was like, this dude is a family man. You know, he's got a beautiful family. He's a fam first kind of person. He's like a kind of person that you want to hang out with, you know. And I only know you through music, and that's how, you know, we met. You know, Robbie was a connection for us as well, and obviously Matt and so forth. And
Matt Burke,
yeah, shout out to Matt Burke, and we gotta have him come
shout
through.
out to Matt.
You know, the time zones are crazy.
I'm reading one of his scripts right now. He just
Seriously?
wrote a new script, and I get to be the guy. I get to preview it, so I'm honored
Nice.
to do that. You know,
That's dope.
Yeah, we have
He's
a
a hell
mutual
of a
media
writer.
friend. He's a writer, started out as a
Yeah.
media guy. He's a dope human being too. And so, you know, we always trying to have good people up here and people that can share their story, whatever their story is, you know. And we told the line between almost comedy and almost serious. You know, when it gets too serious, we kind of naturally try to find, you know, sort of the humor wherever we can find it. But at the same time, you know, we kind of flip it the other way around too. It can get too funny, and it's like, yo, we're up here for a purpose too. We're trying to do a release, but we're also trying to let people know, see a small glimpse in subsection of the world. Because I'm going to say this real seriously. Like, I do a thing on here called the Conspiracy Calculator, and and the Conspiracy Calculator is a bunch of conspiracy theory questions, right? And I have people like go through
I've seen it,
and and I'm not going to put you through that, but I will say this. I mean, I could, you know what I'm saying? But I scored a 3. I don't know.
I'm not on board with any conspiracies, so
yeah, I think you might score a 0. You know what I'm saying? But
Respect.
yeah, you might score. I scored a 3, dog. I was surprised I scored a 3. Like, I made the thing. You know, it's 20 questions, and hip hop obviously is birthed from a place of rebellion, right? Overcoming, you know, making something from nothing, whatever, and a natural and warranted distrust of the government, right? Positions of power. Actually, in that track, if you hear me rhyming, I'm doing the same thing. I'm calling out attention to all the government and so forth or whatever. And you know, you should be paying attention to what the government's doing, and especially now, right? Be leery of of who the people are pulling the levers, right? But at the same time, it doesn't give us carte blanche, I was going to say, to just sort of, you know, just say, well, I think this is true. There's a difference between thinking it might be true and then promoting it on your Facebook feed that that the vaccine is a big conspiracy and it's, you know, Bill Gates trying to implant the microchip. You know, which is birthed from ridiculousness, but it comes from a place of where I understand it, at least because I can understand the skepticism, you know. So it's good to have a little balance on the show, you know what I mean? And people speak to that.
I like that. And that post you put about, you know, vacations, pro, that was classic.
Oh yeah,
showing the vaccine in the background. Now,
I saw that. Mandatory vacations.
Mandatory. People were up in arms on that post. Sorry, Jay.
What's going on, Logan?
Jay's kind of in pause mode right now.
He's frozen.
He's smart. He's shutting the camera off. He's like, "Yo, let me get back." But I'll try to maybe. Yeah. So
it's funny. I follow Lupe Fiasco on Instagram, and he's been very promoting vaccination. You know, he's saying everybody needs to get this vaccine. You know, and you should see the people going at him, man. It's crazy. Dude. All the conspiracy stuff. Who's paying you, Lupe? World. They bought you, Lupe, you know?
Yeah, they bought me.
I kind of went off because my Wi-Fi, again, is acting up, so I muted myself. But
yeah, you're back now.
We know it's not because you're getting a snack. We know. You don't need to disclaim. We trust you.
I'm sitting in the same spot. But you know, when I came to where I'm coming, I knew, okay, Florida, you know, traveling, airport. But I took all the precautions. I did the 6 feet. I wore the mask, and you know, when we came here, we did we might have went shopping twice. We didn't eat out. You know what I mean? We spent by the pool, and we were the only ones there, kind of thing. So we kept our distance. But if you go on vacation and you can't do that, that's when that's stupid, straight up. Because now you're putting my people like Ceej at risk for being stupid. Maybe I'm stupid, but I think that I took the right precautions. Because I got my kids with me and I got my family with me. I'm like, you know what? This makes sense because what's really different, aside from hitting Logan, where I literally saw I didn't see anybody. The place was a ghost town, you know? And
it must be wild.
It's crazy, you know? Yeah. But Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on travel? What are your thoughts on travel? I mean, I didn't get to hear, but I want to hear if you were talking about it.
I mean, so I travel a lot. You know, my wife is from Brazil. We travel internationally constantly. I personally haven't been on an airplane since March. I don't intend on doing any traveling. But that's just me. You know, but like you said, you know how to protect yourself. This is a disease that spreads in the air, in close quarters. When you swap an air with people you don't live with, you know. So if you can figure out ways to avoid that, then you can keep yourself safe, you know.
Yeah, I was Jay, I was at the post office today, man, and I was trying to mail one little record size package, right? And we've been talking about these 12 inches, right?
Oh, yeah, I meant to. Yeah.
And so, I've just reminded you on that. But I'm in there. And so there's this one post. I'm in Alexandria, Virginia, which is like 5 minutes from DC, right? 7 minutes from DC. And Alexandria is a city, but it has a real nice part of the city that you start heading towards like Old Town Alexandria. And there's a little tiny post office on the way. It's a little bit farther, but sometimes I'll go there because I'll be like, oh, I can get in there in the cut when nobody's there, right? Because same thing, I don't want to be dealing with people. Yo, this post office, the last 3 times I've been there, has had like 30 people inside of it, right? And the post office is about the size of a pizza place. You know what I mean? Like a small pizza joint, you know?
Yeah.
And I just keep walking in. I'm like, nah, dog, I just can't be standing in there like that. So I'm waiting, and then I'll try to see if there's like any other kind of store I could possibly go in that doesn't have anybody in it, or something like that. So, I'm up in there. I come back. I finally get into this post office. Jay, there's like 15 people and one post office worker, dog. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
they had nothing automated, and I'm like, in this day and time,
are
man.
Are they masked up or?
Yeah, they're masked up.
Are these people wearing masks?
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
you know what you guys got to do too? Just being a postal employee and being a rural carrier. There's a thing called package pickup on USPS.com where you can actually have your carrier pick up the package from your house. And that's the safest method because now you're not having to go into the post office. And I think you could use like stamps.com or you can do whatever you do. The issue would be if you're not paying the right postage, they're going to return it to you and say you owe $5, $10, right? But if it's not a rush where you don't got to get I feel like that should only be used for express package delivery where it's like, I need to get this out now. But reality is pick up. Have your mail carrier pick your package up to avoid what you had to go through. This place was like stuck in the 50s too, but it was crazy, man. Just like most post offices are, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's insane.
No shade on my fellow postal people.
It's insane, dog. I was like, what? But anyways, Ceej, I'm hoping you stick with us, man, and you can stay with us for a while. Yeah, cool, totally, man. And by the way, let me know. Let me know on the music front too. Give me something else to play before you get out of here too. But speaking of more music, I got my man, the RapOet, in the building. My man, Suffice, and he's kind of a veteran now to this game right here. He kind of understands what we're doing right here. So I've been checking out his show. We're gonna take some notes from him on how to put down the show, man, because I was watching what he's doing. Mr. had A+ up in there. I see you, RapOet. So, without further ado, I'm just going to try to give the knock myself this time. Oh, look at that. It worked. Suffice in the building. What up, homie? Yeah, we see you. I don't know if we got you, but we see you. We hear you now. We got you. What's up, homie?
Oh, man. The beautiful air, the trees, the water. I'm really interested to find out what this button is. I've been using StreamYard for a minute, but you mentioned there's a button you have that can help us with our mic control. And I'm in season 3, and I'm like, there ain't no buttons here that I haven't seen. So if you show me a button,
we might have
the mic sound better. I'm gonna be lit.
Well, we might have to do that after we get off, man. So we'll have to show you the behind the scenes mechanism.
You hiding your secrets from the people?
Well, I mean, I'm a rookie.
Wizard of Oz?
Hey, Suffice. Nice meeting you, bro. But we don't got no secrets on this show, my dude. Everything.
We're far from secrets, dog.
Yeah, bro. You're gonna learn everything we know. We're gonna be like,
it's way out, man.
All right?
We play rough drafts of our tracks. We play tracks that are 2/3 done that have different choruses. You know, you know how people are always being like, "Yo, yeah, don't show that until it's polished." Nah, we show it. We show the grit and the grime, man.
I love
We're
that.
like, yo, Jay, I did a new mix today, man. You want to hear it? You know what I'm saying? We're like, yeah, sure.
You know,
Why not?
I feel like why do anything these days if you're not doing it that way? We've had that
Jay Cruz.
phase of social media where artists were mysterious and fancy, and people got that. We know what it's like to look at people that are fake like that. And I think we all want to see people that like are super duper amazing, but see that we are connected to them because they're also super duper human and they do super duper dumb stuff that we all do.
Yeah, man. That's
There's nothing better than the process. There's nothing better than that. Right?
Yo, I was watching your show, man, and you guys are embracing that too, man. Now I only started watching the show after I invited you to be on because I was totally dropping the ball, man. You don't know, I was telling Jay there were like 2 or 3 times I tried to check out your show, but it was on like a Sunday or something on Instagram or something, right?
Sundays at 7, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't understand that it was you doing the show. I thought it was you on a show, and I was trying to go check you to see you on the show.
Speaking of transparency, my brother Light, who I love, right? I've been telling him, you have to put your face on things you do. Speaking of transparency, right? Because people could just repost anything these days. It's so many people who don't know that's my show because we don't have our face on the
right.
So I'm gonna take this point, I'm gonna take this clip and bring it back to my brother Light and make this argument. I need all of y'all to tag Light Skin is Ill and tell him we ain't know it was your show. Put your face on the fly.
Yeah, man. Yo, you know what? When we were even doing little logos and stuff, right? I was using, before we were doing it up on Hip Hop Citizen here. Shout out to Hip Hop Citizen, of course.
Shout out.
I was using Jay's face, right? Jay's face logo. And I didn't want to use one of mine. I was like, you know what? We'll just say Professor Lyrical and then we'll put Jay's face, right? Just like that, you know? And then I was like, and I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, people might think I'm on Jay's show, or you know what I mean? And like, I was on this show. I was a guest on this show. You know what I mean? And so it was like, it's confusing because people.
And I understand that because again, coming from a place where a lot of us, at least in the hip hop world, a lot of us are fans. You know what I mean? A lot, like not many of us were the original pioneers, so we never wanted to like be overshining or whatever, but you get to a point where like, yo, you're somewhat of an authority yourself, and people want to see. It's not so much of an ego thing as much of it is an accountability thing. So like when people are looking at if they're gonna follow you back on Instagram and this and that, and you got a cool picture, that's fine, but it's creepy. It's just like Zoom. We've all had Zoom conferences now, right? And you're like, I'm not gonna put my face up. You creepy if you don't put your face up.
Creepy, man.
Stand out these days if you don't
my students right now. Talk to my students, man. Tell them. Yeah, man.
Don't be creepy. Don't be the creepy student.
It can be a little creepy.
Or like, you know, them people that are just like too cool, whatever. Forget them people.
It's not creepy. It's not creepy if you show yourself a lot and then you do it. You know, like if Ceej drops out his picture right now, we know Ceej is getting up to refill whatever he's drinking. And by the way, I'm not asking you what you're drinking, Ceej, but you can, you know, you're free to volunteer that. But I don't know what was in that cup.
Coffee,
Jay Cruz.
Almond milk.
I got
almond milk, dog.
I got brown in the cup.
I should have known Ceej is keeping it healthy.
That's another thing y'all got that we don't have in our 3 seasons. Y'all got all kinds of sponsors. So after the show, y'all got to tell me about that. Y'all had like Pringles and Cheez-Its and
we working.
All right.
So you got all these sponsorships.
Right. So in full transparency, you haven't been watching the show that close.
That's great. Right? That's good. We're doing. That means we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
So what we're trying to do is manifest the dream, dog. These are our. Let me put it up. We're trying to put up.
Cheez is giving Professor Lyrical like cheese.
Yes, is unofficial. They're unofficial sponsors, but there could be official sponsors. Do you understand? So we're giving an opportunity to Cheez-Its to shine on the show, even though they really haven't put up the ducats. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like a trial run. It's like saying, Cheez-Its, you could be the sponsor of the ProQuo Show, and wouldn't you like to be the sponsor of the ProQuo Show? This is what it might look like. And tell you what, I'll do product placement. I'll just be eating the Cheez-It, let you know. You know, so it's not quite the official sponsor.
So
it's about putting it into the atmosphere. You got to put it into.
You got to put it out there and let it grow.
There you
Cheese it.
go.
Cheez-Its.
Mhm.
Like, so since y'all have, you know, when you get that bag, when Cheez-It sends like 100
bag.
boxes and you got multiple hosts on the show, how you gonna divide them Cheez-It boxes?
You have to
Are you
send them
ready
to
for
multiple
that?
addresses. What you got to do. Yo, let me tell you. So I had sponsorships back in the day, and with different companies, right? And this, I will put this out there to everybody because people, a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh, I had a sponsor." What it sounds like you're Big William, right? It's not really like that. We're trying to educate folks to how you can do it because you asked, right?
Yeah.
Getting a sponsorship is incredibly simple. Just like you said, putting your face with the name. So I've had ones with, Scion, Red Bull, Converse, other companies that I've written for and parlayed those into sponsorships. For instance, like you write a song for a company because they asked you to write a song for that company. But when you're making the agreement about what you're going to do that for, it doesn't always have to be buckets full of cash.
Right.
Everyone thinks the bag has to be the bag full of cash. The very
I
first
gotta
thing.
cut you off real quick.
No.
Just so everybody knows this, my bro here being super humble, I met him in the midst of him writing a song for a company where he got a bucket full of cash. That being said, please continue.
Yeah. No. But the cash though, the cash is nice, right? But if you think about it up front, you can put it into things that you need, and companies have lots of other things they need. So the first thing we ever did on the first sponsorship we had, Fee and I, we did one for this is how far back this goes. It's Hewlett Packard computer, right? And so Hewlett Packard had just kind of taken over Apollo. That's why I'm going back with this. I don't know if y'all remember Apollo, but Apollo was like they got gobbled up by Sun, and Sun gobbled. So anyways, this long lineage of these computer companies gobbling each other up, right? And Hewlett Packard, we asked for an office. So we said, yo, we want an office in Hewlett Packard, and they gave it to us.
Wow.
They gave it to us. And by the way, to date this,
That's crazy.
this is when you still had to pay for long distance. So, so for us, that was worth its weight in gold. We had an office, we had photocopiers, fax machines, computers, all that kind of stuff. And that led us on to the fact that this is a little easier than people think. Now, I don't mean it's easy, like people are just going to give it to you. But if you write something quality and someone's going to have you perform, the next step is, yo, what do I need to be doing so it isn't just a one-off, right? It's like doing a club night and turning it into a monthly. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so the next step is sponsorship. And we flipped it with Converse after that and literally just called them, wrote a little letter and said, yo, here's pictures of us rocking the shoe. And we'd like to make a track. We volunteered the services. We didn't wait for them to come to us. We were like, yo, this is what we can do. Here's the song already. How would you like to own this song? You know what I mean?
I think that's how it goes, like even if you go back to my Adidas, I'll never forget first time seeing that footage of that classic show at Madison Square Garden sold out. And when they seen that full packed crowd going crazy at Run DMC, my Adidas, and all them people going crazy. Them people over in Europe wasn't like checking for black people to be rocking these shoes. But after they saw that footage
and how they rocked,
when they saw that footage, it's almost to a point where you're like, I'm missing out right now. Like, it's almost like the theory of reciprocity. Like, wow, you're pushing my brand so hard, I'm gonna look stupid if I don't have an attachment to it. It's almost like it's your brand right now. I want to be down with the brand.
That's the wisdom right there. The wisdom is you have to. What Run DMC did obviously is they freaked the Adidas, right? They didn't just wear it the lame-o way, the tongue out, no laces, blah blah blah. We all know that, right? But what can you do that can freak a product to make that product be indistinguishable from you, right? So for me, I'm thinking Pro Tools, right? I'd be stupid not to approach Pro Tools, and it can be that silly. The name itself can work. If the name works and it represents you, and it's something that you actually would use, like I would love to be sponsored by Pro Tools. Now I haven't written it yet, but why would I not approach Pro Tools?
It's tricky to rock around. That's right, all the time.
It's tricky.
No, I hear you.
They want you to pull out those records, baby. Back.
We gotta shout out Angela for being so active in the comments, and appreciate you, girl, for staying.
There's a whole lot of them.
There's a
whole lot of them, but I gotta show them that one
Michael.
again.
Oh yeah, you can keep showing that one, baby. You actually play that record? Are you playing that record, or you just showing it on the wall?
That's a beautiful thing. Do you play? You definitely spin
No, I
that,
listen
dog.
to it. I put it on. I put it on a real needle. This is a good one here. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite lyrical tracks.
Appreciate it.
Determination,
Hell yeah.
dedication, and discipline.
Absolutely.
Hey, Michael, is it Mikhail? Michael, this right here, that's that whiskey right there. But water, dude, I put a lot of ice cubes in it because I know how to talk tonight. You know what I mean? But Makai. Yeah.
So Self, man, what's up? What's up with the music, man?
I'm
sorry.
What's up?
I gotta ask you something.
Absolutely.
Is the Yankee Candle? Are you traveling with the Yankee Candle, or do you buy one everywhere you go? You know.
No, see, that's what's beautiful.
Is that your Yankee Candle from home?
That's important, right?
No, this is my fault, but it came out beautifully because.
Or do you touch down?
No, this is on my mom's table. This is my mom's table, right? And I was like, I didn't grab anything, so it was the first thing handy. Was the Yankee Candle, and I said it's perfect.
No, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. And see, it's Yankee, it's New England. You can make that sponsorship. You know, Ceej, I think you could rock that. Ceej, I think you could rock with that. We're not trying to make this all about capitalism, but we're trying to make it a little.
If basically sponsorship, the way that I've learned from Pro, because Pro is the one that really got me hip with it.
What time is it? No, I'm just
exactly.
Playing. Hey, I'm just thinking of the next one.
If you holding it in your house, if it's a household item, you're a sponsor of it because you know what I'm saying. And think of how many things you got in your house and how many different brands you got in your house. And when
it's almost like, do you want to get paid for your sponsorship, or do you just want to be a sponsor? You know, but either way, you a sponsor. Like you using the product. Right.
Yeah, I mean, we want to get paid. Don't come on. We
want to get paid for products we already use. We don't want to be fronting like we like your product when we don't like your product.
Exactly.
We want to be using.
We letting you know where
Like, look, I wanted to throw this out there to you guys. I was holding back on this, but I wanted to ask you. Like tonight, right? I got my son a double cheese pizza from Vocelli Pizza. Now, y'all don't have Vocelli's around where you are.
Why was you holding this back from us this whole time?
All right, I didn't want to make you hungry early, but here's the deal. I want people to chime in. Whether if you hear, you can chime in vocally. If you watching, you can type it in. Yo, what's the spot near you? Right? What's the local spot near you that the pizza is all that? That's the joint that you want to get on a Friday night, right? When you're doing your Friday night pizza, right? So Vocelli, my son actually ate the crust. You know what I'm saying? Vocelli, man. You're not a sponsor now, but you could be. See, my son ate the crust of your pizza. I'm putting it down like that.
He don't be eating crust like that, huh?
Yo, what's that?
He don't be eating crust like that.
No, he's like, this is so good. He goes, is this flour on the bottom? And we're like, yeah, that's flour on the bottom.
Who giving you smoke? Who giving you smoke telling you not to interact? Whoever's in the chat telling her not to, we love her in the chat.
Angela,
that's the point of this platform.
Angela, we need you to keep
that's
doing
the point of this platform. You the A+ student. That's what you're supposed to do on this. The whole point of paying for a StreamYard subscription is so you can post people's comments on the screen. That's all it does. We can post to YouTube, we can post to Facebook without this software. But with this software, we can show that people are interacting. So y'all need to get like her, really.
StreamYard can catch a sponsorship opportunity as well. And you know what? They're on the fence. They're on the fence, though, because we've been, these audio things that artists are really having to deal with. Yo, Zoom sounds lovely. I want to let StreamYard know. Zoom sounds lovely. StreamYard,
I will say, though, Pro, when you played Ceej's joint, it sounded pretty damn good.
We learned a little from last week.
Yeah,
but see,
don't last clip you had.
It always sounds better when we're hearing it than it does after we play it back, right?
Let me ask you a question. On our show, whenever we play a video or content, we have to mute all the guests because it starts popping up like a feedback loop. Do you find you have to you can't really talk while you're playing stuff? Do you find that too?
Yeah, we have to do that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, these things are new.
These things are new, man.
You see what they do.
This is all COVID. I mean, because reality is we talked about this episodes back, where if COVID didn't happen and this whole quarantine thing didn't happen, the likelihood of us creating this wouldn't have existed, because now it's like, how are we gonna chill? How are we gonna hang out? How are we gonna create something where we can get together and bring this social media platform where we can see each other?
That's right.
Because I told all my people, I said, yo, don't be calling me on the phone no more, though. And they're like, what? Yeah, don't be calling me. You need to FaceTime me. Like legit,
Right.
FaceTime only. And that's what kind of spawned the idea with me and Pro, because we was on it for like hours. We were like, yo, we need to broadcast this, man. We talking for hours. You know what I mean?
So I have a confession to make.
Confess, bro.
My mic wasn't working when I came in the green room. When y'all was like, all right, RapOet's here, we gonna log off. I was like, hello. Y'all couldn't hear me. You just thought I wasn't talking. I turned off the computer, right? In the meantime, just in case it ain't work, I took my headphones and plugged it into my phone, because you could log in through your phone too, right? And actually, shout out to the software for that. If you log in through your phone, it works pretty well. Ceej, are you on your phone?
I think he's on an iPhone, right?
Because you're
I'm on a
vertical.
cell phone. iPhone.
See? So like it works. It works really well on the phone as well.
iPhone.
So ever since then, right? I had my headphones that I'm wearing, that you see me for the past half hour, plugged into my phone. I just now realized the headphones you told me to rock for the show, I have not been using this whole show. So I want y'all to tell me if you hear a difference now. All right, now I'm in the actual computer. Is it less echo? Did it make a difference?
Wait,
they make a difference.
It's starting to get a little less echoey. Hold on.
It's getting less. Okay.
You're still echoey.
But I think it plays an important role when we start to play music through the platform. That's when I think it would start making a difference.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, y'all sound better than me. Y'all got a little bit more bass in your voice now.
Yeah, I mean, you still sound tunnely. I was thinking it started to improve there, but yo, that's because, well, I don't want to have to hunt it down, but that's because we got another potential sponsor in the building too.
Okay.
Yo, mega potential.
We went down that story before, but yo, that we were rocking the official mics. You know what I mean?
We gonna keep just showing them real quick. You can't really.
Yeah, we're not showing Rockville right now.
When J. Cruz get to Rockville and
when J. Cruz steps to the Rockville,
then we'll probably sponsor that.
But I would say these are huge. You know what I'm saying? These
those are incredible.
Whatever you call these soundproofy thingies, but soundproofy mini booth things. Those are definitely night and day. But I got soundproof over there too. So yeah. I wanted to say this to Ceej too while you were here. So the same idea. We were kind of going down the path right there before I forget it. So we were talking about how this stuff informs, how Jay was making the point. And by the way, I got caught in I don't know, I was falling out land there. I think I was probably paused, you guys. So I missed a little of what y'all said for like 20 seconds, but forgive me if you already hit this. But Ceej, is this going to inform the music you were writing? Like, are you going to write from the perspective of having gone through this, or did you go the other way? Did you just go like release, like, you know what I mean? Do whatever kind of like release music, or were you writing specifically to this? And is that going to be something we should be looking for you to come with speaking to this?
No, I mean, I think most of my best music that I've ever written from dark times. So, I think that there'll be that influence where maybe not like specifically writing in that role, telling that story, but those moments of darkness bring that music, to light, that struggle to light, so, opposed to writing like in the first person of telling the story, it's more about the struggle and more about those dark times. And give them, this darkness doesn't last forever. This is all temporary.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody writes different, like.
So that's kind of the silver lining, the silver lining of any dark.
I think, it's funny because I think about
most of my best music. I think I haven't necessarily written in dark times, but go ahead, man.
Well, no, I was going to say the quality of the character, like writing from the quality of who you are during these times, like what you had to endure, kind of putting that to, like, to me, that's what I be doing, being on the front lines every day. I mean, I'm not like you, but definitely, being on the front lines every day, it kind of, you level up your appreciation for self, you have to applaud your character when you're in the front lines, man.
Yeah.
During
and your peers, times,
Yeah. It's amazing.
Your peers, you look to the people around you, you know, who really inspire you every day. You know, it's crazy. And sometimes get you out of your rut, you know, and get you to back in it. You know, well, it's kind of one of those where it's like maybe someone's having an off day, and you need that person next to you who's bringing everybody up. You know, and then the next day it's going to be you to lift that person up next to you. You know.
Yeah,
I,
bro.
I
That's
was thinking
powerful.
a video of yours would probably be crazy if it ever emanated from this, you know, point of view. That's what I was wondering too. Like if you were thinking about those moves next, or if you're not quite, you know, there with that yet. I was, you know, because I'm thinking about. I watched so many
Yeah,
MC.
yeah, definitely some visuals down the pipeline. You know.
I watched so many MCs skirt around this issue because it's weird. It's hard for people to even talk about. Like so often, like a lot of people probably watching this right now. This is the release from it. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, but you want to talk about it, right? But how do you talk about it in a way that isn't just, you know, you hear a lot of people talking about, you know, they have a punchline. It'd be like a COVID punchline or something like that, just kind of ha ha. But I've not really heard many people go all in. You know what I mean? People go all in on the information, and like it's something I've thought about, you know, but
Yeah,
That's a great point. How you saying? I put COVID. I think
yeah,
you know since quarantine started, I might have used COVID references like 3 times in 3 different songs, and it was never a punchline that was like in a funny fashion. It
yeah,
was more like, yo, like COVID made shit serious. Like, yo, this is real life. Like, you know what I mean? And I like how you just posed that, bro. That was cool.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I gotta give a shout out to a brother from over
everybody's
in your
suffering right
area.
now. You know, that's what you got to remember
he's on
is
that delay. Yeah. Ceej is on
Um,
that Cape Cod delay.
so brother, I think you know Substantial from Maryland area DMV, but
Not not
he's a
personally, but yeah.
tremendous MC. He was actually on our podcast recently doing big things. And I just got on my biggest playlist ever. That's a whole nother thing that hopefully we'll get the chance to talk
That's what I was
about.
just
Kind of
thinking about. Yeah.
the pivoting from like the live shows. What do you do? So
Yep.
I've been getting all into playlists and stuff now. But so I'm on this playlist, and of course, Substantial's already on this. Like every place that has Nugent, rest in peace. Every place that has like soulful and jazz hip hop, he's killing it.
Mm.
But you know, it's dope to see somebody you know doing the thing. But to your point, I played a track and I thought, oh my God, like I instantly had to add it to my playlist as well. Not because he's a cool guy and because it's just a dope sonic track, but like you're saying, he talks about the stuff we're going through.
Mm.
He talks about wondering if I'm gonna get to see my mother again. And you know, him and the brother, shout out to Bob Alloy, because it's a crew, Bob Alloy. I guess I'm doing my unofficial sponsorship for them
That's
right now.
dope. That's
But
Yeah,
dope.
bro.
like they like when you're listening to it, you're like, thank you for articulating this moment right here, not as like a gimmick or not as like some, okay, how do we rap about it? But all of what you're saying, people don't understand how hard that is to just naturally talk about what's relevant in the moment. Because there's a lot of times where I'm rapping about, you know me, I'm rapping about consciousness and real revolution and growth and education all the time.
Yeah.
So when there's a specific moment where people start doing it, I actually need to step back for a second and be like, it's actually sometimes harder for me in those moments, as crazy as that sounds, because I don't want to sound like the dude who doesn't talk about these things every day and is making a track for this moment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you actually hear, I mean, y'all just gotta go check out Bob Allen and Substantial. Y'all hear what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, they really capture it in a way where it's like, oh, these are thoughts that every woman and man has. These aren't thoughts that like he's talking about what it's like for a rapper in COVID or what it's like for like a celebrity or the president. He's just talking about something that we all need to hear right now. And I feel like y'all right. That's what music should do on a daily basis. But on a daily basis, it's easier to talk about something that people can relate to. At times like this, it's not as easy to put it into words that rhyme and sound good without seeming like you forcing it or making it.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
Exactly.
speaking of Spotify and your music, I was listening to that chapter 12, man, and I got that in the shoot, man. Is that something we can run? Is that we let people run?
Yeah, I mean, you might want to play like the first verse. I don't know if you got 5 verses. I'll be going on. Just
There's a lot. Yeah.
feel free to cut it off after a minute or two.
Let me get a piece of that out there. Let me get a piece of that out there, and then we'll talk about that that Spotify game. All right, hold up.
Let me mute that echo.
Me too.
Spent time, paid dues, been burnt till I earned. What can't be given, can't be learned. The deep truth you need to learn most, I can teach you, but only you can teach self. Let these jewels reach you. Hold what can be sold, can't be told. I don't control your show you crowd control. If I told them I love you, would it make you lovable? I tell you about the struggle, now you've been through the struggle too. More than words, embody the secrets and the formulas. Shed light on the earth that matter before the morning does. Could tell you what's gonna happen before the warning does. When I'm gone, I'll still be as present, if not even more than anybody that's wanted us. Unfortunately, can't force you to receive what you're saying that you want from us. But I could give you what you seem to need. Pay attention and leave you what leading a horse to the water does. I'll be where, be aware of where you be. So beware where you be when you see where I be. I'll be where, be aware of where you be. So beware where you be when you see where I be. We got here with a lot of people supporting us, brought out the core of us, reminding us it was all in us. I always loved the way when others wasn't wanting us, you saw what's up. Whenever you need me, you can call me up. Realer than Santa on Christmas, making lists of A1 without who I doubt I would exist. Whoever come after before taking on the throne, remember you never heard me say I made it on my own. Heavy the head, holding the mic, rocking the crown, but I was led on shoulders of giants, that's why no one could knock it down. Whoever show you ready to take my place before I go, leave my connections and know each other's face. Coach you to be the best physically, also mentally, till my mentees achieve what I achieve. That's success for me. We were led to believe that we enemies, but together we achieve what many people never see. I'll be where, be aware of where you be. So beware where you be when you see where I be. I'll be where, be aware of where you be. So beware where you be when you see where I be. Knowing you showing you own what you going through eventually will connect you and me. Knowing you showing you own what you going through eventually will connect you and me.
Lit.
Self.
What up, dialect? Down one.
Yo.
Yes,
Lit.
peace, yo.
Turn his mic
Thank
back.
you.
Yo, man. And speaking of Jazzy, coming on through with that, man. You got that.
Yeah.
You got that all day though. I was.
So I mean, if you want to go right into the into like how this connects to playlists and stuff like that, one of the really cool things about the playlist, because there's always like learning things and gaming the system or whatever. But one of the really cool things about that is if you do identify with a certain sound, that this Spotify algorithm actually rewards that. You know what I mean? So I literally put like, this is a hip hop jazzy thing, and put that stamp on it. Like we talk, put your face on it, stand up for it. Not so much of claiming this is mine, but saying I'm making it easier for you to say. Like in your case, I actually eat Cheez-Its. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not just out here trying to take something from, you know what I'm saying? So when I did that, I would say I put that out like over a year ago. You know what I'm saying? But finally people saw that like, oh, he's got a few tracks in that vein, and I end up on like the biggest hip hop jazz playlist. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So it's not like it was anti-gaming. You could say that. You know what I mean? There was a commitment involved where they were like, oh, he's really in this vein. He's really respecting this genre. He can fit on this playlist.
Yeah. I mean, we see a lot of people. We talk about this a lot. A lot of MCs talk about this. Talk about for a while it was Well, let's take it real back. What was it first? It was like MySpace, right? MySpace was the thing everybody had to have. MySpace got into music.
Nope.
And then Twitter jumped
Nope.
on. But Twitter wasn't really doing it for music. It was just
Nope.
about getting your name out there.
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna give you an exclusive.
All right.
Okay. That no one else is gonna tell you, even if they do know it. But we, the transparent podcasters, right? We established this.
Mm-hmm.
It was mp3.com.
Oh, snap.
MP3.
You remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
It's not just me. I found, matter of fact, one of my favorite artists.
Big MP3 was in the corner, right? It was like mp3.com, right? And yeah, man.
They had it to the point, and they was ahead of their time in a way. They had it to the point where people could buy your music as a download, which was like new to buy an album download, or they could buy it when you uploaded it. They would send CDs. They would make your digital CD and send it out to people.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You gotta salute them.
So you're from Connecticut.
I'm actually from the LES. I'm from Hartford, Connecticut, by way of the LES. You know, I'm born and raised in the LES, NYC, South Street. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Projects. And then I came to Hartford, which sounds like Harvard up around your way. And then I found out I moved out of the projects into the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? So for anyone out in New York, like, yeah, I did make it out the projects, but like the hood is everywhere, yo.
You got back in? You found your way back in? It's always open house, right? It's always open house.
It's the same thing. Hartford, Connecticut, you know, Bridgeport, New London, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all real here. New Haven. You know,
people see the New England connection here in these 4 boxes. It's not hard to tell.
Man, when I found out, when a bird told me you was coming to Connecticut to do a show and a lecture, you know I was there, bro.
Yeah, bro, you
was
were
there early.
Yeah. You were literally front row.
Right.
Front row. Yeah, man. Nah, it was
that
good.
was the same thing when Pro came through. I was like, yo, you gonna be in low? I'm there. I'm gonna hit you up. As soon as I found out, man.
Yeah, that's how we met. Yeah, mp3.com.
mp3.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. And I actually wanted to say, there's an artist named Orbitron to this day, who's one of my favorite hip hop artists. If you haven't checked him out, I found him on mp3.com. You know what I'm saying? And there's a crew called Beirut. I don't know if Beirut is still, but there was a production crew, and he was like one of the main MCs that they pushed. And then he's also a b-boy. So if y'all know, you know, Circle of Fire and Massive Monkeys and all that, if you're in the hip hop culture, he's heavy in that whole scene. You know what I'm saying? And I've always been an MC into the hip hop culture. So I feel like it's my job as an MC when so many people think hip hop is music. It's always my job to rock with my b-boys, you know what I mean? And my graph writers, and make sure people understand we're the most vocal, but we have to speak up for them. They're very much still active. Like that craft never died. You know what I'm saying? To this day. Yeah,
it's like it's true in Boston too. Like the scene is fragmented, right? It's like you got your graph artists and you got your b-boys, b-girls, and they do keep it alive. I mean, they do their jams, and these jams are usually packed, and they're not packed by MCs. And I would always make it my mission to go to these shows. You know, shout out to all the people in Boston that are, you know, still keeping that culture alive. Floor Lords, Crazy Freddy, all the, you know, there's so many. I mean, we'd be naming all day, but we would be going on and on and on. But I did probably I probably met more people through those shows than I met at any other kind of shows, because they're organic. And if you're watching this and you've never experienced like a b-boy jam, and you've never taken your children there or whatever, because you're like, oh, hip hop is like whatever. Nah, hip hop, if you've never been to a b-boy jam, which is how a lot of us probably came up through this. I mean, I know for me at a very young age, going to hip hop jams was like going to the playground. It was just, I mean, it was in the playgrounds, you know what I mean? But it was like, it was seeing masses of people come together, do what you do and what you love. And by the way, for MCing to play the back role at a lot of these jams is in a way humbling for MCs to experience and realize that there is truly more to the culture than just thinking it's all about you on the mic. Because there's nothing that excites me more than a dope popper. And
we always get love. Like I've always gotten love from the b-boys and b-girls, because like you're not stepping in the middle of a jam. Like MCing came from DJing. You know, DJing came from bringing the most amount of people together when they cut the arts out of the schools and you know, cut the education out of the schools, really, and you didn't have musicians and no budget for instruments, so you took these records, you know, that's really a lot of how this DJ, besides talking about how scratching started and Grandmaster Flash and DST and everything, talking about culturally what happened. We was taking what we had when things were taken away and saying, how can we still get the community together when we don't have funds, right? So then the DJ's taking these records and playing and getting the crowd together. And he was doing that so much that the MC had to start being like, hyping it on the side. That's what the MC was supposed to do. You're supposed to hype and bring people together on the side. That's like our job. And I feel like they've been able to take that physical space of a cipher, like you said, large groups of people. That goes all the way back to Africa. To have the most people feeling part of something, you don't put like someone in the front of the class and someone in the back. You create a circle, right? And I feel like that's been separated a lot from the MCs and DJs. You know, it's easy to put them in one place and another. But my favorite moments as an MC have been off the stage in the circle with the other MCs. And I feel like no other component of the culture like B-boying and B-girling maintains that cipher.
The only place it's left, man. It's the only place it's like kindergarten when kids get in the circle in the morning, right? It's not weird. It's not you, but somehow we get up in the higher grades and all of a sudden a faculty member that wants to put students in a circle is one of those weirdy people, you know, like, oh, you're going to put me in the circle. Come on, just put me in the rows. You know what I mean? Like students have been force fed for so long, this sort of like systematic approach to education for testing. And we lose this cultural thing that hip hop has in common with little kids. We want to be in circles. We want to be in groups. It goes back to griot speaking. You're right. Like bringing it back to, you know, Africa and Afro-Caribbean cultures that still maintain this, but you find this at hip hop shows and you will only find it, typically you'll find it at these organic hip hop jams, you know, and it's like a lost piece of the culture.
It's funny
live. It's like, yo, you know,
when that show that I mentioned that I pulled up on Lyrical at, right? It was at this spot called Con College. I believe it's in New London, Connecticut. But Connecticut College, right? They get to be the Connecticut College out of all the cities.
Out of all the Connecticut one, right?
Like it should be in Hartford if there's a Connecticut College. But so when I pulled up, I had already been there for a couple of joints, and one of the lecture series I was doing out there, one of the students schooled me. Like schooled me. You know, like you know how sometimes when a lot of us like you know, Ceej, you know, Professor Lyrical, I'm sure you too as JCJ, we do things that embody what we talk about in hip hop and culture, right? So we either doing some kind of social work or nonprofit work or teaching, right? So a lot of times you trying to get people active, and it's few and far between where one of the students is like schooling you, but it happens.
If you that's a beautiful thing,
right? It happens, right? So I'm doing this whole gender thing. I have like my gay lesbian activist hip hop rap friend, because we did one on like b-boying and one on, you know, graph and one on MCing, and I was like, we got to do one on gender. You know what I mean? Like we have to do one on gender, and I am a heterosexual normative male, straight. You know what I mean? So I can't really do this as much as I can like bring someone in who really live it, because hip hop is not something you do. Hip-hop is something you live. So the first thing you do when you teach in hip hop is don't mess that up. Don't say more than you know, right? So my sister in there, we doing the whole thing, and this girl, and I want to say she's a white girl, an identified white girl, because a lot of times we would assume that it would have to be a black woman, or a lesbian or non-hetero person to drop the gems. But this was a white girl who you normally would assume wouldn't know better or wouldn't have compassion, okay? So I just want to explicitly say that. So we almost at the end of the class, right? And I said something about how like, yeah, you know, like people can be fostering a great environment for different cultures if they're looking out and, you know, being careful with it. And she was like, well, you know, regardless of what a male teacher professor does in my classes, he's a male teacher. And without even knowing, he's doing normal male heterosexual straight things that men do with his voice, his facial expressions, his presence, that he's not even aware of. He would actually have to know. Now, I'm not saying exactly what she said, right? But this hit me. She's like, he would actually have to know what it's like not being that in order to make it different for people who are in the class, who are not male, straight, heterosexual, so forth, right? So it's just like you were saying, bro, like it's really easy to create just norms. It's a lot of racism and corrupt capitalism and the corrupt toxic forms of things. And by the way, toxic masculinity, for we all dudes here, right? A lot of people get mad at the term toxic masculinity, just like defund the police, you know, all these terms. But like the sisters are talking about toxic masculinity. They're not saying masculinity is toxic. They're talking about like if you have some bread and it gets moldy in your house, you don't like the bread, right? That's what they're talking about. They're not saying love us. They're saying toxic masculinity. There's a point at which masculinity can become toxic, right? So it's just interesting how the norms themselves, you know what I mean? If you do too much of something, if you don't move people around like hip hop does in the cipher, where everyone sees everyone regardless of who's talking, right? This cipher is this ingenious geometry where everyone is seen regardless of what they do. They could be the dancer, the MC. So shout out to hip hop for that, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
agree
huge.
more.
I'd love to have a
Ceej is
show.
loving you right now because I know Ceej, and I know you're preaching to Ceej, man. He lives by a lot of what you were just saying. So, yeah, man, and absolutely. You know, y'all are similar people in a lot of ways. Y'all don't know each other, but you guys are a good match.
It's an honor to meet you.
Yeah, man.
You gotta imagine that hip hop show where you got the performance and then you got two artists drawing a picture. Obviously, you don't want someone doing graffiti at a show indoors, but if you had outdoors, you could have someone. But like having two people doing art, you got break dancers in the backdrop, you got your DJ, you bring all the elements together. That's hip hop, man, and it's unconditional.
Yeah.
You know, we've conditioned ourselves, like you said, the masculinity aspect of things, where it's like, yo, unconditioning yourself and being more open-minded and just seeing things.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it takes that one-off person to enlighten you a little bit because they are different. That's huge. You know?
She blew my mind. Shout out to that student wherever she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You blew my mind, and just shout out to anyone. Shout out to the teachers who listen to students.
Yeah, I would argue
what they teach.
What's that, Ceej? We'll wait for you to come into the East Coast time.
I mean, I love everything he's saying. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I love everything he just said, especially the mold. That was beautiful. But what he was saying there with hip hop, I would argue. Now I've been all over the world, and it's not just in America.
Right.
You know, hip hop is a global phenomenon, and I would argue out of everything, everywhere I've been, every country I've been to, hip hop is one of the only things that exists that does that brings everybody together like that. I've never been to anything else quite like a hip hop experience, not just here, but abroad, where you look around, the most diversity that you've seen in any type of environment. You know, it really is so unique in that sense that it just brings everybody. It's crazy when you're in another country to see all those elements. I mean, this is something that has traveled the world and has stayed in that pure form, no matter where it pops up, you know?
Yeah. Great points. It's to add on to the education piece there. It's funny because in teaching, when I look for like who is a effective educator or whatnot, or when I'm doing like a teaching observation or something, which is literally part of my job, I always, if someone like gives me the big up for like what I'm doing in the classroom, and they ever ask and they say to the side, yo, like, where did you get that? It's always hip hop stuff. And it's so to us doing it, it's so common sense. It's almost like, I can't believe I'd have to teach this to somebody else. Like, like active learning, right?
We're
So
privileged.
if I facilitate 25 modules on education of best practices in education. And literally, if someone really wants to get on the game, and it's kind of crazy, I haven't done it, but it's like, you could write all of these from hip hop point of view. And at TED, I actually did. I talked about the 4 elements, how they model traditional academic disciplines and the way that they actually are taught.
I think you freestyled on that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, but to take it deeper, right? It's like every single one of these things. We talk about active learning, right? We talk about like these pair shares that we do in the academy, where you listen to someone else, then you speak on the topic. You listen to an expert, right?
Even when we battle, we do that.
Literally,
it's the most misunderstood aspect of battling, right? From outsiders. They think, oh, they saying this and that. Basketball, football, boxing, there's no American sport. To Ceej's point, hip-hop is different. Like, there's no American sport where someone's attacking you and you let them.
And you love it. And they become your best people. You become like them.
MCing, rap, let them have their turn completely.
And you shut up.
Interrupt it, you lose. That's actually how you lose.
That's how you lose. And when the crowd loses favor with you because you've been a jerky boy, right, in the middle of it, because you can get away with it for a little bit, but you keep going to that well. It's human nature to turn on you and root for the underdog. Like, you can't be a bully too long, or the crowd's gonna be like, nah, come on, man, let's see this dude hit you back. You know what I mean? And so it's that human nature of that part of the sport is wonderful.
I feel like I actually did when I was in college, that helped me graduate, because I literally, so every class I did, I would have failed if it wasn't for hip hop. When it was jazz, I did like jazz origins of hip hop. If it was politics, I did like decolonization through hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was definitely my muse. I have a computer science degree. You know what my final project was? I made a production program to like shift pitch and make beats in hip hop, right? But I actually had an education class, to your point, where I did this research on hip hop as a pedagogical tool. And I wasn't just like, in that one, it wasn't just a muse for me. It was literally what I was doing. I was using hip hop to learn and teach in the best possible way possible. Like, hip hop lends itself to, and if you're a hip hop artist and you haven't considered like teaching or mentoring, you're actually missing out on a skill, and vice versa. If you're a teacher who hasn't considered like looking at what hip hop artists do and ciphers and stages, the way in that culture, you're missing out. Because when you talk about classroom management, after doing classroom management, right? Especially with some of the younger kids, like, don't just be in the colleges. You got to go to some of the high schools, sometimes hit the middle schools up, do a lecture there. You go to that show tonight at the club, easy. And vice versa. You rock in the club and people there just to drink and see their friend, and you get the crowd's attention. You get them to catch you when you jump on stage and not let you die. You go back in that classroom, you're not like annoyed that people are yelling and distracted from math. You like, okay, let's go. I got you.
That's great. It's funny because I've been thinking like hip hop. Yeah, we call it a culture and everything, but I feel like it's the best parents. If you could call it a king and a queen, and that's your parents. Well, that's what it is. It's your parent, and and that's, you don't have that with rock and roll. You don't have that with any other music genre. It's like that deep, And I think as it gets older, and especially when we start to see things where we got educators getting involved and taking that hip hop chemistry and that parenthood and bringing it on and teaching their students, Socrates, Plato type thing. It's like, yo, that's incredible, man. There's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
See my daughter smile.
Yeah, just to see my daughter smile, man.
The wise words of J. Cruz.
Being a parent. And that's what made me come up with that whole philosophy, was being a parent. You know what I mean?
Yo, I might need to give him 10 seconds of J. Cruz. I might need to give him 30 seconds. They haven't, Ceej and the RapOet haven't heard. Well, they might have heard some some a little bit of ProQuo, but they haven't heard enough of J. Cruz.
DJ, I know.
DJ Phase Uno?
Yo, that the best battle rappers have been, are, and always will be the ones who can freestyle. When you talk about Hollow the Don,
absolutely,
you're not gonna be the best if you can. What's better in a battle? What can beat someone who says the elephant in the room right now?
Right, and if you can't,
you gotta change it on your eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm battling Professor Lyrical. The whole time he got a cheese it on his eyebrow. So I'm like, I'm gonna shoot you with this. He's like, I'm gonna shoot you with that. He's like, nah, you want a gun? Just go splat. We going back and forth. That's why your mother did it. And then I said, see, I'm gonna put your lights out. This whole time you rapping with a cheese it on your eyebrow. Right. You know what the crowd does at that point? Mm-hmm. They go, I was seeing that the whole time.
Mm-hmm. You're their voice.
But I didn't think nobody was going to say it.
You brought the elephant.
And there's one thing that beats that. Y'all notice, there's one thing that beats that. When Professor Lyrical goes, yeah, I got the cheese on my eyebrow, it's true. But look down. I also spit a cheese on your shoe. And then everybody looks down and they're like, oh, he got a cheese on it. Like when
you spoke to that earlier too. That's staying calm. It's like going back in the classroom. They're staying calm in the eye of the storm and staying focused. It's getting your Yoda on. It's like when someone comes at you with the ill freestyle line, people get rattled. You immediately have to think of the flip. You know, you got to meet your brain has to go. What's the flip on this? Because you know how the crowd responds, right? The crowd is waiting for you to land a Hail Mary when they thought you were knocked out, you know, and
thought you were knocked out. Say that again.
Yeah. The crowd is waiting on you for the Hail Mary when they thought you were knocked out. You know what I mean?
That's like with Ceej, what you were saying about the international, collective. Like I've actually been to places where, people ask me what it's like there, and I'm just be honest, I don't know, because I was there with the hip hop community. Yeah. And I know I was treated in a different way. It's almost like hip hop is its own little country. You know what I mean? Like I had some of the best hip hop experiences ever in Russia. And like you said, the culture, the B-boys there doing acrobatic, athletic, ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Right. So a privilege to see them and rock with them. But it's like I know that there were some heinous things happening in Russia to some of the citizens there. Mm-hmm. And I did not experience those things. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you was to ask me, I had a great time in the Caribbean and Mexico and Canada and all these places. But I know I was under a certain protection from the peace, love, and unity of hip hop. It's not necessarily like I was always around some gangsters and security or nothing like that. It's just people that love the culture so much. It's like the best protection you could have. Right?
Big facts, man. That is big facts.
I saw that Kane video in Russia, man. You see that video where Kane's rocking in the circle? Oh, you got to see it.
Totally.
Yeah. You saw that, Ceej? He's killing it in the cipher. It's so Kane is rocking. This came out like earlier in the year. Kane is like right before, I think it was right before COVID. I'm maybe a few months back before it, but he's rocking over there in the middle of the circle doing all his classics, and he just stops and like lets the B-boys come down, and like the B-boys get, and it, for them it's like the thrill of a lifetime, you know what I mean? And they're just killing it, and he just like almost stops the show just to let them do. And Kane's background, right? Dancing is a critical part, back to Scoop and Scrap, of course, you know what I mean? So he's just like letting the people drop their best moves or whatever, and they're saying half the students are word for word with Dog, you know what I mean? Even though they don't know what the hell he's saying, right. A lot of them did though, but
no, but sometimes people will learn a language.
Greatest rapper of all time.
I love that. I've done a few shows. I've done a few shows with KRS-One, and he always does that. It's my favorite thing about him is that he jumps in the crowd. Who raps? And he's bringing everybody in. And I did a show with an MC in Brazil one time, and I saw him do the same thing. And I'm like, that's a KRS-One move. He goes, looks at his crowd. He said, who raps? Who breakdances? And his show became the crowd's show. and he was happy as could be on the sidelines.
And he's
just,
the teacher. And he's the teacher, right? And this is
the
what
best element of the show, right?
This is what teachers don't do, right? The successful teachers that incorporate their students into the active lessons have wonderful classes, right? And it's like, and the rest of the faculty is standing by going, I wish I thought of that. And it's like, this is not rocket science, people. Stop doing all the talk. Let's just talk. You know what I mean?
Promoting participation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that toxicity that we referenced earlier. There's definitely some of that in our academia, you know, and it's definitely to the student who schooled me. It's definitely such a normalized thing that you wouldn't even know unless you really start to unpack how weird some of our normal things do are, and how they don't even benefit. Like a lot of things that we do as teachers don't even benefit us. They just make us be able to say, I did this. Like, I taught this lesson.
You were talking about earlier, like faculty, like leaning up on students. Like you're talking about like the males. Like think about even how men stand typically. Like if you really examine how a man stands, right? And it's like putting, we're literally all free up in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like unguarded, even the way we sit, you know what I'm saying? Is like you get into this stuff and you think about how other cultures deal with, and to not at least think about it. Man, when you're in a physical space, especially when there's there's whether it's younger or older, male or female crowds, and you got professors who are used to being the star of the show, or just teachers, right? Like running from the American way that we teach and everything, just hovering all up on students and walking through and saying, hey, John. And in the old days, people make fun of the Bidens of the world being all touchy. Teachers doing the same thing. Teachers all like hugging up on the students and stuff like, it's like, don't be touching me. You know what I mean? like we will say that as a person, I never wanted anyone to touch me, right? Be like putting their hand on none of that. I don't want a coach touch me or anything like that.
An authority. And again, that's what privilege is. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know, right? You're like, well, you could touch me, but you don't know what it's like having the authority in a class who's grading your papers say you can touch me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't say you can or can't. I can only say you can or can't as the person who's grading and might feel a certain way about me saying can or can't. You don't know what that's like. That's what the best way I've been able to explain privilege. And that's another thing that blew my mind in COVID. The amount of people that got more active in the streets and just in learning and breaking down racism in COVID. It's like so much is happening at once. But so there's been all these people like suddenly want to have conversations that could have had these conversations with me years ago, you know what I'm saying? But like the best way I've been able to explain privilege is like, let's say I'm trying to save up money to buy a bike, right? And Richard goes, oh, I got you. I'll get you that bike. And you're like, word? Because I need this bike to get to this job on Tuesday. So like, I'm really trying to save up and get it. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll get you the bike, right? Now on Tuesday, Richard comes by with the bike. I'm like, thank you, Richard. Wow, I can go to work and all this. It's beautiful, right? Richard changed my life and had the power to do so. Thank you, Richard, right? On Tuesday, if he forgets, I now can't get a job.
Richard's a dick now.
I don't have my bike, right? All of these things. And I look like a greedy, begging sucker. Because it's like, well, why were you waiting for Richard?
Dick.
Right? But Richard can choose to do that or not do that, right? And I'm not going to put any president's name in that. But Richard could even be incompetent to the point where if he just forgets or can't figure out how to get the bike, it's okay because he was doing me a favor. The person who's receiving, right, that action from the privileged person cannot choose. That's like a student in a class. That's like certain genders and situations where they're outnumbered is seen as different, right? It's a privilege that you get to walk away saying, I gave you money. I gave you this. I gave you this platform. But if you don't, and that was my only opportunity to do that, you also told me not to go do whatever else I was going to do to get that. And now I'm depending on you. That's something that you don't realize on the privileged side of the equation.
Well, that's like
that's beautiful.
You know, that's
That's the best way I could explain it so far too.
we all have friends that don't show up, right? You know what I'm saying? We all have like those people in our, you know what I mean? And you don't, sometimes you don't make a big deal about it too. You might be really, that person coming over to your house that was going to come over or whatever, especially when you were younger, they might have been your transportation because, and they said it like, hey, yo, I'm going to come on by. Yo, I'll take you over to work. Oh, that'll be cool. You know, and just casually blow it off after. And now
Sound
you
like a
out of
great
job.
idea.
Yeah, man, you had a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I mean, you know, you learn that young, and it's, you know, some people don't, you know, but yeah, that's a good dick story, man. I appreciate that. That was good.
I like that.
Richard became Dick.
Yo, I have to say who my sponsor is.
Who is it?
While I'm here, so I'm gonna throw my sponsor in here. My sponsor is the Sound Minds podcast, which you've already mentioned. And our next show is what is it, Friday, right?
Yeah.
So 2 days from now, Sunday, 7 p.m. We always do Sunday, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
My brother Mez from Dreamville is gonna be the guest. And to me,
What?
Mez is like the most
What?
best kept secret in hip hop in general.
Yeah,
You know what
man.
I mean? Like a lot of people will be like, oh, he's the one behind J. Cole's recording and stuff like that. But like he's done stuff for like the thing to put it in a sentence, he's the only person I know who has been as quick to work with the most underground artists, even after he was working with like J-Lo and people like that. Like people that wouldn't even know J. Cole's music. You know what I mean? Like he's engineered and worked for them and would still come back on the block of the open mic and, you know, yo, can I, you know how people, when they hear you're with Dreamville or something, they always like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? And I'm expecting him to be like, da, da, da. He would always be like, yeah, here's my email.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to know there's people like that. And whenever he's successful at something, you feel good. You know what I mean? When you see people do that, you don't be like, oh, how did they do that? You're always like, wow, he needs more of that. We need more people who do that to be okay. And he'll be the guest on Sunday at 7 p.m.
Dreamville too, man. Dreamville's legit, yo.
Yeah,
all the way around, man. All the way around. If you ain't checking for Dreamville, or you don't know who Dreamville is, or you haven't heard, it's the kind of stuff. It's funny too because you know you think of the timing of COVID, and you think about like what Dreamville represents, right? And you think about that sound and what they're doing in terms of, you know, skills, modernized skills, right? Like new bap, as Jay would say, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still weren't checking for that. You know, they still weren't checking for that. I'd listen to these tracks and be like, oh my God, these are amazing. And nobody's talking about these tracks, you know? I mean, yeah, they'd have like millions of views or whatever, but every video, it's like, you feel like they have millions of views, you know? They're out like 2 days and there's like 1 million views, you know? And it's like, all right, like, does that really
They're not differentiating it from like this mainstream artist or this sign artist and the other.
Yeah, and like people have been waiting for that kind of music for a long time. And now that COVID has kind of, you know, kept people to their crib, you know, it's sort of ushered back in a little bit more in vogue, which I think is great to see. There's a place and a space for music that is smart and music that is classic and music that is updated. You know what I mean? And you can find that intersection of the Venn diagram.
It's crazy because I think that Mez had been working with so many artists, like again, a range of artists, you know, me included, who like spit like dope, relevant stuff while getting into the flow and the style. You know what I mean? Like this is common on the underground scene, from Cali to, you know, Brazil to NY. And I think, first of all, he's one of the best MCs I know or have rocked the show. Like he could kill a crowd and kill a track. And that's one of my bittersweet beefs with him, is that people know him as this engineering expert, but they don't realize he will kill you lyrically.
Yeah, right.
Like he will destroy you lyrically.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get how it's kind of what you were saying about what people were waiting for. I think he realized part of the reason people aren't hearing that is because of the sound and the EQing and the frequencies and these other things that the consumer and the listener never thinks about. They just think about, they're like, oh yeah, I heard this rapper and I heard their name. And they don't realize sometimes the reason you're hearing someone is because they have a high quality sound. And I feel like he kind of said, you know what? I could try to just keep bringing these bars and know that they're dope, or I could help other people who are doing this have the sound where it gets recognized. You know what I mean? And so even though I have this beef with him, because again, I'm very big on like people getting their roses. You know what I mean? They feel like you're dope.
Out of here, right?
I totally get that. I totally get that. And if you're gonna pick someone to do that with, Cole is the one.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? So I'm not bad.
We'll be
But
checking.
there's another artist on Dreamville now, right? Who's named Mez, who raps. So now I'm even more mad at Mez, because now even when I talk about the MC at Dreamville named Mez is crazy, they're like, oh yeah, I heard Mez. So it's just a super testament to, I think, someone who's being super dope and really doesn't give a damn whether people know or not. They're more caring about, are they pushing like a movement forward?
So
are they doing the right thing?
So do you think as an artist who's you straddle the line of rap educator, rapper, community activist, right? All those kind of intersections. Do you think that the chasing the I shouldn't even say chasing, I should say the Spotify game, which we were speaking on earlier, the getting those plays. Do you think that is going to continue to be the move for unforeseen, and the platforms will just keep changing? Do you think Spotify is going to dominate the market? And is this something, quite frankly, that you feel that, we were talking about this before you came up to quite at length, and you were hipping me to some of the inside info when we were talking about algorithms and so forth. Do you think that this is the only way, or do you think that that there's still other ways in music for cats to get on now, or are they going to have to succumb to, let's say, to feeding the beast? That's a lot. Sorry.
So no. My mind is there. Yeah, I think a lot of people watching this, that's really the question. So I totally get you. It's just how to give
for all y'all, really, too. But I'll start with you, definitely, man.
Yeah, I'll say one thing, and then maybe it can turn into a table where we come back around. You know what I mean? So the first thing I'll start the table with, we could pass it around, is that, white supremacy, corrupt capitalism is a real big deal, and it's very normalized. So all of these things and trends that come and go, they don't really, that part doesn't come and go. Like the people who have money now are not like, oh, now everyone can put out internet and now you can get streams and da-da-da. In the context of a capitalist, corrupt system that a lot of our world still works in, unfortunately. It's not like I want it to be that way. So at the same time as I can tell you the algorithms and how I'm being successful with streams and everything, I still got to tell you, like, if you buy one shirt from me, it's equal to you paying my song 20,000 times.
Yeah, right.
You buy one shirt from me.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think I would encourage people to do two things. One is to figure out like what's happening with cryptocurrency right now, or just any type of thing where you can put money in a way where the same hour you're telling people to play your music for 0 pennies, you can actually have your money just growing and supporting some business that's out there doing something that's innovating the world. The second thing I would say is what y'all is already doing now. And by the way, I love Spotify. I want to have the playlist conversation and Spotify conversation, but I just want to start this discussion by saying that transparent and relevancy. The second thing you could do is what y'all are doing, the Cheez-Its, the sponsorship thing. It's really about aligning with people who want to make you sustainable. And then you go and make the money, and the money helps you pay and give residuals and stuff like that. But I don't think it's ever gonna be, like if I could do my shows right now, I probably wouldn't be learning so much about streaming.
Right.
It's for lack of being able to do shows that I'm figuring this out.
Yeah.
Facts. Good job. Yeah, I think it's like Easter. Hip hop is Easter right now, man. Look, back in the days, you was selling records, or you was selling, you were touring, you were selling your CDs and all that. Now it's baskets. You don't put your eggs in one basket, and you don't want to lose out on a basket, which is Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music playlists. Look, it's all about, and I like how you said crypto too, because you know, when you can get to that level, when you're thinking business and you're saying, how can I grow my money and get more to maybe do what you got to do, pay your bills, but reinvest so you can maybe put some money into getting into these playlists and getting into these shows and doing all that. Look, bottom line is just have a bunch of baskets and try to fill them up.
Yo, Lil Wayne just filled his basket, man. Did you hear Lil Wayne? He sold his masters, which we always say is the cardinal sin. Well, yeah, but he sold them for $100 million.
Yeah, that's a good basket.
100 million to Universal. So if you're gonna sell your masters, make sure you're selling them for 100 million, man, because that's a lot of Spotify plays right there, dog.
Yeah, bro. He'll make them back. He's gonna make a brand new
he's gonna take an L. I mean, it's kind of like when you think about you can't take an L, selling 100 million, but it's kind of like you know, with George Lucas. You know, people were like, "Yo, this dude's crazy." He got $1 billion for the whole Star Wars game, selling it to Disney, and it's like, yo, they like surpassed that in like a month. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it always looks bad. It's like Ronald McDonald, man. Like, like you don't want to be Ronald McDonald, but that's crazy. 100 mil though. Woo, I don't know.
Yeah, is right. I'll be buying it. Look, I'm sitting next to right now a building that was put up 2 years ago, and the top lot is a $6 million lot. And then it goes 5 million, 4 million, and what's sick about
down?
It goes down as you get, and this is from the ocean side, so as
you
it goes
slumming
down,
it on the basement for $1 million.
Yeah, you go $2 million slum,
I only have 2 million. Can you cut me a deal?
Yeah, exactly. But yo, these people, look at they got like it's 80% vacant 2 years later.
Right.
Still, it's like
right.
So hey, where's your basket? How your basket's looking right now, man? You got holes in them bitches.
I think what you're saying about shows being gone, right now, shows was always the best form of income. I always gave all my music away. If I'm at a show, and because it's funny, a dude will come up to you double fisting Grey Goose drinks, and you try to sell him a CD for $5 and he doesn't have for it, right? So I'll give my CDs out because the next dude that comes along is going to put $100 bill in your pocket, and it always comes around.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of doing shows, as stressful as they were, especially if you had a headliner coming in from out of state or whatever, and you'd set everything up, was the ability to put money in everybody's pocket. And so there were a lot of shows where I made a lot of money. But there were also shows where I walked away with nothing, but I still felt good because it was like my DJ got $100. This MC got $100. That person got $150. Having gone right now is tough, but it's going to come back. And when it comes back, it's going to be big. People are itching to get back out there and see a live show. And to me, that's always been one of my favorite things, is if I walk away with nothing, my heart is full because I'm putting money in everybody's pocket and I enjoy myself,
Absolutely, man.
I mean, I think we've all had the conversation on this podcast. Like I said, there's a certain hip hop privilege amongst the guests and the hosts of tonight's episode. But I think we've all had the privilege of, like, you go on stage, you tell them, yo, I got CDs for sale. You do your set. At the end of the set, you say, yo, I'll be off stage at the merch table or whatever. Got CDs for sale. If you doing, a lot of MCs don't, you know what I mean? But I know a lot of us that do what we do and think like we do this. We want to get out there with the people and rock with them or whatever. And, the first thing that always happens is you go out after saying at the beginning of your set and at the end of the set, you're out there in the crowd, rocking, supporting, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, I got CDs right here. And this is your third time saying this. And then the first person in front of you goes, oh, you selling those? And it's like, it doesn't make sense on an online world. People will never understand that experience. But you're giving people an opportunity to talk to you and something to talk about. That's all they're saying.
Yeah.
They're not saying I'm stupid. Like, you might be a rocket scientist during the day or a surgeon, but at night, you don't want to think about that. You just want to chill and be around cool people. And you go, oh, you're selling those? And then I go, yeah. I don't go, didn't you hear me 3 times? You know what I mean? I have to go, yeah, because I understand we're having a conversation. And you're not just buying music from me. and saying like, how much did this disc cost or whatever, the studio, you're saying I'm enjoying the experience we're having right now, and I want to contribute to it. I appreciate what's happening. You go, yeah, I'm selling it. And then Ceej said, for those who missed it, you know, you go, yeah, it's $15, and they go, oh, I'm not sure if I got 15. You say, okay, well, whatever you got 5, whatever, you know what I mean? I feel your energy, like, thank you for supporting. And then they open up their wallet and they have like a $50 bill, and you ain't seen one of these in like 2 weeks. Somebody with a $50 bill, like, here, take the 50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a whole roundabout way for people who haven't done this thing that we're talking about with the live shows. It's all saying that the irony of this whole thing, for people who think it's about money, it's not even about money. There's something we're able to do as performers in hip hop, which is exchange with people. And that's actually what I think very uber wealthy people do. You make more money from cutting back on taxes than you do from making more money after a certain point. So when you can get people to like share rides or give you a drink or make a dope graffiti shirt for you and you do a show for them and stuff like that, or get groceries for you, if you can do that, you're now not paying taxes and having to go out of your way to go to this job and do this thing to pay 20% to Uncle Sam and do the paperwork on how you did the thing for Uncle Sam and then get the groceries. And it's just funny how, like, again, going back to my student, with things normalized, the average one of us lower class and middle class people is actually normalized to thinking like that. There's something wrong with us when that's literally how super wealthy people do it. They don't go and do jobs and like pay people all the time. They're like, oh, my friend does that. He'll do this. He'll do this in the art gallery. He'll give you this painting. Can you like do something at my house, or I'll get you those groceries, or I'll have the limo come by.
Yo,
like
the power of the money value of networking and keeping. See, the problem is you can meet 100 people, and then those 100 people fall through the cracks. Versus you got those 100 people, and you're very well organized, and you can bring those people back together to work with each other. That value is priceless. But let me tell you a future value right now. My pops, right? I go over the other day. I was telling you. I don't think I told you this. I meant to, but I go over to Pops, right? We're talking. I'm talking about StreamYard. We're using the service and the show and all that. He's like, yeah, check this out. He whips his wallet out. He pulls out this black debit card looking thing, puts it in front of my phone, and it's like bing, and all his social media, his merchandise.
Oh yeah, you did say this. Yeah.
Yo, everything came up instantly. I said, what? Like 16 things on my phone came up as soon as he swiped this card in front of my camera. Instantly. I'm like, yo, now that for artists that's your merch. That's all the baskets, bro.
Sounds like an official, unofficial sponsor coming up.
Yeah, I don't know the name. I'll post it after the show. I find it out. I'll put it in the comments.
Sounds real official.
Let a brother know.
Sounds real official. Right about now.
Shout out to Pop Dukes.
Yeah, Pop's got it all locked, man. I learned a lot from him for sure.
His dad got the hustle game for real, for real.
So what has been y'all experience? You know, with Spotify is definitely the main one, but like just with these streaming services in general, like what questions have you come up with? And let me tell you how I started. I had completely curved the whole thing, not just because of doing shows, because it was so little. Like you said, I wasn't looking at the different baskets. I was just like, I don't have time for this, right? One of my friends had come home from jail. And he was like, oh, I'm streaming this, I'm streaming that. And you know, like sometimes when you kind of feel like you have it better than someone, you're like, oh, cool. Like you encouraging them. Like, that's cool for you, right? I was a jerk, man, because one day I went to record a track with him. And he was like, yo, check out. I just got paid off, Spotify. And he's like, yo, check this out. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm trying to like be not patronizing and diss him. Like he got something going on. Yeah. I go check, and he was making more money that month than I had made from my case. And I was like, see, here goes me thinking I know better, thinking there's no way my homie who got an ankle bracelet on could be a savvy business person and finding a way to do this. And he did it with something that was making point. Oh, it was a basket type thing. You know what I'm saying? But you know what he did, to your point, network. He's sitting there networking with people all day, you know, and making sure that like this person not even in America, you know, to Ceej's point, like, why am I trying to compete with Lil Wayne? He's connecting with people in Yugoslavia and Uzbekistan and all these people that want to rock with a hip hop person, and these celebrities ain't reaching out to them. So saying that's how I actually got involved, from being so ignorant and like arrogant about that it wasn't valuable, and then kind of being humbled by someone showing me like, yo, it's really possible, you know, if you learn.
I get in my own head with these things. Like you know, we've all probably talked about this a little bit at some point, you know, and you know, Ceej has, I've recorded with Ceej, I've done shows with Ceej, you know, I've done, you know, same, you know, obviously Self, you and I and Jay, we've all, you know, as artists, we all try to, you know, get in where we fit in or whatever. And we try to think about what makes the most sense for us as people. So I'm always leery about the whole, I used the term before about the whole feeding the beast thing. Like as an artist who's put out my own music for a long time and in conjunction with other companies too, I've made, you know, moves when they've been the right moves in partnership with other companies, other labels and so forth. But I've always worried about, am I spending valuable time that I can never get back on something that isn't necessarily that valuable, right? So I didn't even put my stuff on SoundCloud when I first heard about SoundCloud because I didn't see the value. And I was on Spotify around the same time that I was on SoundCloud. I never pay attention to really any of it because I wasn't seeing the way that my network was working. I would know people. They would ask me to do a show. They'd ask me to promote a show. They'd ask me to go on a mini tour. They'd ask me to show up at a college or whatever. And that was organic. And I didn't have to do any work for it, right? And that's still largely how it works for me, right? But I recognize that would come in greater abundance if I was paying more attention to, like, let's say, I mean, I don't have that many videos. You know what I'm saying? Like videos really. And so I'll hear a lot of artists talking about, yo, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. And so I have that war that you're talking about where it's like, all right, am I being stubborn because I feel like it's like a first world problem, right? Like, yo, I'm doing pretty well. Like I'm not spending that much time feeding the beast. I do what I got to do. I get on my Instagram, I get on my Twitter a little bit, you know. I do have a lot on SoundCloud now because I had somebody managing it for me and they blew it the hell up. All of a sudden they were putting all of my songs up there and they were interacting with all the people and they were helping me. Before I know it, I had like 500,000 plays, you know, but I don't do that. Like
First of all, I don't think that's normal. Is that normal? I don't know. I'm asking.
Is what normal?
500,000 plays.
I got lucky. I got really lucky.
That's above. That's way above.
Yeah, but I got real lucky because I had like, don't get it twisted. I mean, I had like 15 of my own songs that I put up there that had like, you know, 100 or 200 plays each, you know, until this dude came along and he's like, yo, he's like, oh man, he's like, he was just a fan. I met at a show and he was like, yo, and he knew what he was doing. And it wasn't like I didn't know how to use it. But again, it was this thing that I was like, am I really going to sit here and comment to all these people or whatever? And this is just when it started to really take flight, right? When it started to take flight, he was like, yo, trust me. He's like, with all the content you have, if I get it up there, one of these things is going to hit. So he started throwing them into blog sites. And then one of them hit in France. It turned out to be one of them hit in France. And it was like a front page of this magazine in France that plays hip hop. And they do like their top list. And one of my songs from my album just happened to get lucky on this page, right? And it went to number one. And before I knew it, that song went from, you know, like 100 plays to 1,000 plays, 10,000. It was like 100,000 plays in a month, right? So that launched all my other songs. They all started going up, you know. And now I'm like, damn, now I get it. Now I get it. Now
I have a thought. So this was including your SoundCloud, right? I'm assuming this was on your SoundCloud, right?
SoundCloud, yeah.
All right. So what Jay was saying about the baskets, this is where I think we fail. I think it's effective to focus on one area, like whether it be SoundCloud shows or whatever like that. No doubt that's effective.
Yeah.
Let's say you in a drought, right? Well, let's say you're not in a drought. So you used to it. You put your cup of water out. It gets filled every day. You're straight, right? But then a drought comes. You got that one cup of water out.
Yeah.
For 1 second, it floods and you got that cup of water. You're good for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
Right.
In that drought, if you had them baskets Jay was talking about, even though most of the time you only getting it from this cup, right? Where you going to the right place or you chasing the cloud. And that one moment when the clouds is out, if you have them baskets, imagine them people that all hit SoundCloud. When they search for you, you was mainly on SoundCloud. If when they search for you, you had the Spotify and the things and all these other algorithms set up, in that moment, that basket becomes like a cornucopia.
You got a damn, exactly.
Right.
That one moment could become your
But then
cornucopia.
it comes back to the cost question. It comes back to how, like, do you think artists should be actively doing that, like, for themselves? Do you think they should be hiring
and that's
people?
why I said the thing about crypto. This is exactly where this is going, and it's where I have to steer the conversation.
Shout out XRP and Stella, by the way.
And shout out to the official.
he does
And
that officio.
Yo,
XRP at 17 cents going up to 55 cents. I'm happy with that.
In 50 minutes, everyone who's holding XRP is gonna have Spark tokens automatically put in their wallets, depending on what exchange they're on. If you're on Coinbase, if you're on Nexo, right? And Nexo now is giving people money just for holding crypto.
Just for holding.
They're giving interest way better than your
Let me hold this means something new now. Let me hold this.
Thank you for.
Let me hold something.
But like, no, hey, the water don't ripple, but it ripples.
The baskets, the cornucopia, and the ripple. This should be a book, yo. This should be
and speaking of big news, shout out to Dialect. The Knicks are 1-0 in the preseason.
Word.
You might never ever get to say again all season that the Knicks are undefeated. So let's say it now. Shout out to the Knicks. Someone
Dialect 718.
Yeah,
but thank you for joining me and taking it this direction, because there's a lot of starving artist connotations in our community. There's a lot of like be broke and like a lot of us are still recovering from that.
Yeah,
and again, it's not all about money. It's about exchange and having the wealth to help your community more. And so there's something wrong with just like completely not wanting to have and be able to receive, because you want to be able to receive to give more, right? And so the funny thing about XRP is they trying to like centralize something that's meant to be decentralized. But it's a good place to put your money right now. I ain't gonna hold you. It's a good place to put your money right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do like that the conversation is going back there, because this isn't about like SoundCloud or Spotify. It's just about wealth generation in general, focus and distraction of your energy and health in general, right? Like when you find out that you can make $1 million off crypto, or your friend can help you make $1 million off a song, then there's a tendency for people to like just do that thing, right? But again, this isn't what uber wealthy people do who are manipulating us all the time. What they would do is take the interest from what they make and put that, right? So it's not like a one or the other thing. It's more like once you get your SoundCloud up and going and you understand how to master one thing, then you put a little money into like, either paying an assistant or doing it yourself. Like, and it doesn't need to be money. It could be time equity, right? It could be sweat equity, where you just put some time into searching for DJs or fans of Spotify and start hitting them up, right? Because your SoundCloud's going good, right? That's the same thing that an investor's doing when they just take the interest off their principal. It's funny, I do a lot of my gigs with nonprofits. Actually, I shouldn't say a lot of my gigs, because I do a lot of gigs. So some of the gigs I do are with nonprofits. I do a lot of gigs not with nonprofits. Just for people who don't know me, I'm not like a nonprofit dude. But I do a good amount with nonprofits, and you start noticing that a lot of the nonprofits that go to get these grants, a lot of these people getting the grants are getting their grants from the same people that's giving them grants to give out these grants, to give out to these nonprofits. And there's one called the Hartford Foundation, right? And they have like this huge endowment, right? Like this $1 billion endowment or whatever.
Let me write
But
that
the
down.
reason that runs is because what people don't realize is that money stays in the endowment.
Stays
So
in the
it's not
circle.
like they're giving out $1 billion a year. You know what I mean? But at the same time, as I corrected one of these sisters who thought she knew better than me, my Asian sister, I love her and I appreciate what she was doing. But when I talked about how they had the $1 billion endowment, she was like, well, they don't spend the $1 billion. It's only this. Yeah, I know. But again, remember we talked about privilege? It's a big difference when you have $1 billion not to spend or whether you have like $2,000 not to spend.
Yeah, man.
But that being said, that's what these companies and these investors do. They have this money and it just grows, right? So that little interest off of $1 billion is quite a lot of money, right?
Look, when you can put $1 million in the bank, the interest just off of that, it takes money to make money, number one. And the problem is that, you know, as artists, we say, okay, well, how are we gonna make money if you're working at McDonald's, whatever? Let's get an education, higher education, so you can get a better job. But you know, you have to the currency of time, number one, is only spent every second. So you better watch out how you do that first. And then the second thing is that if you're gonna invest your time in just one thing and you're gonna throw a bunch of money in it and it fails, you done screwed yourself. So that crypto was a beautiful side note to this because it's outside of the music realm.
Right.
And it's something that it's a wealth building tool outside of it. So it's like the more things you can get where you could take a penny and turn it into $2, take $10, turn it into 20, like, but not your whole, you know, you don't want to put your whole life savings into that one thing, but balance it out, do a little bit, put it across the baskets like we were saying, and spend your time wisely. Like Pro, he's like the middleman, the cost, like for one Spotify play, what it costs, you know, you can get 22,000 plays. That's one shirt. It's equal to the same, right? So me, it's like, well, why wouldn't you just go knock on 1,000 doors and sell 50 shirts?
Well, I mean, and it comes down
I mean?
to, do you want to sell your shirts or do you want your music to get out there? You know what I mean?
There's so many different, but networking with the right people, right?
Yeah,
and having the,
you know, Ceej, you said something earlier that, again, there's some things that like we just have a privilege of knowing, but I just want to emphasize something that you said, bro, for people who haven't lived the lifestyle of doing shows.
Ceej the change.
Like this thing about like interacting with people. Actually, let me let Ceej talk before I talk about Ceej. You've been quiet for a minute. What do you think about this concept of like using
I'm good. Are you
other
playing
I'll let
some
you
music
speak.
there, Lyrical?
I was about to, but we'll let you speak first, and then we gotta get people out of here, I'm sure, pretty soon. So I wanted to play some of you guys' music and hear from y'all. So let me keep that on the way.
You got to see our
Yeah, no, I think it's all great. Well, one thing I will say that I think is important with the music, like whether CD Baby's doing your distribution or whoever, there's always an option where it says, you know, put me out there for everything, even if it doesn't generate income. And a lot of people shy away from that, but I think it's an important thing to do because next thing you know, your song is in rotation in Europe. And then next year you get a $20 check in the mail here and another one there, you know, and in that one moment where you were like, nah, I don't want to do that because I don't want to lose out on the money, you know, where you don't want to check that box where it says, let's do everything, even if it doesn't generate money, because streaming, you know, you have to stream a lot of songs to make money. You got to keep all the options on the table. So for me, it's like, really want your music to get up, you will come back, it'll come around. But most importantly, you know, make sure it's out there, make sure it's everywhere that it possibly can be, you know.
Big facts, man.
Absolutely.
And staying and taking, I mean, reality is this: we take 20 years back social media is, you know, you like when Pro was saying we had The Office, you had the long distance calling, like that was money.
Big time.
We have free advertising. All social media is free. It's like, yo, so be consistent across all your platforms. That's a huge thing, especially if you got no money. And if you got a couple of dollars to spend, maybe you put some in like some advertising on Facebook. You put some advertising on, you know. But anyway, that's a whole nother.
Or advertising at a local show instead of waiting for the big time sponsors to be the sponsors.
Yeah.
Local artists can be the sponsors too. You know what I mean? And I think about the Mideast and Cambridge, how infrequently artists would actually set up their own tables in the back where they'd leave it to other people. They'd leave it to the artist playing at the show. You know what I mean? But why not be an artist on your man's show when you're not even playing? You know, it's just to support the dude, and you know, and it cuts you in cheaper, and vice versa. You do it, show the reciprocity. Well, I can't even say it. Show the same sentiment.
That's wealth, like Jay was saying, that your network. My homie Rashaman has a track on Spotify called "What Is Your Net Worth? That Is Your Net Worth."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But one thing I wish people would know is just like, I think the theme that hopefully is coming together is like with hip hop. I mean, we gotta do this again. We gotta do this again.
Yeah, we do.
But one of the things that's coming together is that like hip hop shows you that there's different ways to teach the same principles, you know, whether it be peace, love, unity, having fun. And even it's ironic that a lot of people think hip hop is sex, drugs, violence, and money, right?
Right.
Because what hip hop shows you is
the opposite
strategies. All right, now this is where I'm gonna argue with that. Hip hop, like we said, is different from other things. So a lot of things will point out that they're the opposite or whatever. Hip hop never really says sex, drugs, violence, and money are the opposite, because that's more of a demonizing thing. It doesn't embrace. Hip hop kind of points out that sex, drugs, violence, and money are strategies, like sex, love, money, unity, right? Violence, peace. And for people who say violence, peace, like our government puts more money into violence than anything else, way more than education, but more than anything else. And the rationale behind that is that violence is in the service of creating peace. Right? Sure. So hip hop lets you know that peace, love, unity, and having fun are the purposes. And there's different ways to go about them. And even when you see someone that's caught up in sex, drugs, violence, and money, you don't go, okay, this is a criminal or a bad person. You go, okay, this person is reaching out for these things, right? We can relate to what they're trying to get. And maybe once we know what's behind it, we can find a different way for them to help them get some peace or some love or some unity in the cipher. So one thing I would like to point out between whether it's the streaming or the t-shirts or whatever it be, is just simple math. And I'm not the math professor here, all right? I'm not going to blow up spots, but I'm not the math professor here. But it's amazing to me how many people don't realize, like, 10% is basically what people are going for when they're in investments and stocks and mutual funds. They're going for 10% a year. And the government, if you haven't started paying taxes yet, sales tax and income tax are not the same. I had so many friends who, when they first start paying taxes, they think it's 6% or 8%. That's sales tax when you buy chips at the store.
Times
the
5.
income tax that the government pays you once you start paying taxes is 20%, approximately. Some higher, some a little bit less. 20%. So on a good investment, you're going for 10%. It's very easy to do 10% because you just move to zero. If you got $100, that's $10. If you got $1,000, that's $100, right? Like Jay was saying, if you got $1 billion, you move to zero, you got $100 million, right?
You got it.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
You got it, man. You did it.
But what people need to see is that the government is making 20% off you, which means they're getting like a super good average mutual fund investment off you, right?
Right.
And then the minimum that you're trying to get is around 10%, right? So if you can notice what credit card companies are doing, a lot of them start under 10%, right? So if you had money that was just paying, you'd be able to do better than a credit card. But what they do is they get into this predatory thing where a lot of us are paying 15%, 18, 20, 29.9%. That
Yeah,
means a
baby.
third of
Legal
what
loan
you owe
sharks, bro.
Tell them.
legally, right? So here's the thing. When you look at Spotify, you look at your t-shirts, you look at your taxes, you look at everything, right? If you just thought about these numbers, 10% of whatever you're putting in, whether it's advertising, whether it's SoundCloud, whatever, if it's a job, 10% of what you're putting in to buy your outfits or whatever, if you could get 0.83%, meaning if you have $100 every month that you make, what are we saying, Professor Lyrical? 8.3 cents?
Yeah.
$8.3?
On a dollar?
$8.33?
Oh, on $100. Yeah.
$8.33.
Right? So people think about 10% all the time, but that's annually. People need to think monthly. All it means to get 10% annually is that monthly you're getting this 8, right? This 0.83, which means if you have $100, you're getting $8 a month. If you have 1,000, you're getting 80 per month. And like Jay was saying, that means unless you have $1 million, you're not really getting a lot off of getting 10%. So anything you could put your money into, where your $100 could get you more than $8 a month by the end of the year, your $1,000 could get you more than $80 a month. You're doing better than the mutual funds, than the stock market.
Tell them.
And which is better than
that's
better than like 70% of the people.
That's what would be my guide.
You know?
That's what would be my guide. And the other thing people don't understand is that 5% of 100 is 10% of 50. So the more you put into things, the more you're gonna get back.
That's right.
It's just basic math.
It's all basic, man. Yo, you preaching, man. You preaching.
Man, you guys are great. Hey,
what's my grade? Did I pass the class?
I can't
passed
give
the class,
grade.
man.
I can't. I'm a student as well, so. But this is a great show, man. Look, Ceej, you were great, man. I shout out Cape Cod, man. I eat my Cape Cod chips all the time. I love walking them beaches where it's all flat. You know what I mean? And Poet, my man Poet, love the thought process, man. The energy is amazing, and we definitely
nice
see
place.
y'all again for sure.
Thank you.
Man.
I got a little bit of Ceej maybe to take us out. I was gonna play a little bit of all y'all to take you out of here. I was trying to see what I have back here, but Ceej, I wanted to play a little snippet here. Let's see if we can get you back here. Hold on.
T-Mac.
Hey, quick question though. Quick question. You guys
I was
are
going to
talking
ask
about
if you had
Say it again, Delay Man.
you're talking to me? Okay. I'm sorry, Ceej. I didn't mean to step on you there, brother. I was going to ask you about the Cape. Which part of the Cape, for those of us who are not from New England?
No.
Which Cape are you talking about? Are there more than one Cape? I only know Cape Cod.
Wow, he said more than one Cape.
Yeah.
Was that a yeah?
That's it. We call it the Cape.
Okay, so the Cape is Cape Cod. Okay, got it. All right.
So it's Cape Cod, but it's the Cape. Yeah,
right,
like
so
Boston is the bean.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So
Lyrical. I was gonna see if you had songs "Self-Fulfilling Prophecies" in your collection.
Let me see. Well, I was actually on your what was it?
That's
your
a
Bandcamp.
dope name for a track. Self-Fulfilling Prophecies? What? What?
Let me see here. I gotta jump back to where I was here. Let's see.
It's from the same record. The same record that you were on, Lyrical.
Oh, okay. I was
I wrote a while ago.
over on your
It's
Battle Cry,
constantly relevant. It's crazy.
I was checking out Battle Cry, but I know the song.
Oh, Battle Cry is
a good
one too.
Self-Fulfilling Prophecies. Let me throw a little bit of that on then too. So,
shout out to Sound Minds, definitely, man. Thank you for. Without my Sound Minds brothers, like I wouldn't even know what the StreamYard thing was and feel so comfortable on this, Thank y'all.
I can't wait to check your show out, bro. So you going live on you do it every Sunday at 7, you said?
Every Sunday at 7. And I think I might suggest having y'all on our show
We'll do it.
because we wanted to have one season where like it's not focused on individuals, but focused on people that facilitate others doing things. So y'all definitely qualify for that.
We there, bro.
All right, let's play this little Ceej here. All right, you guys gonna mute? You gonna mute up?
Mute up.
If I lose, like getting your scrubs, man. Mute up. You gotta get protected.
Look, if I lose y'all, it's because my phone's dead.
All right.
One love, though.
Peace.
Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lots of love. May he protect us from evil. Wars waged around the globe, some you'll never hear about. A central rainforest of the earth that we be clearing out. Human beings are cancer to the lungs of the planet. She was trying to kick her habit with the gum and the Chantix. Yeah, but yo, that come with hella side effects. Like acid coming back up, can't be held down by the Prilosec. It's fighter jets, drop bombs, you dazzled by the pyrotex. Not thinking about the death beneath, it's easy. We might forget, but history repeats itself. I always keep a shelf with books about a past attending class on a cliff that's deep as hell. I feel we on the edge of it. Time to change our rhetoric. Yeah, time to change our rhetoric. Get ahead of it. Self-fulfilling prophecies like Oedipus, where the endings always are the same with everybody dead and shit. We better get a grip because it's getting too late. The human race sealing our fate. Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lots of love. May he protect us from evil. How could I ever feel comfortable just copping me a bad whip? There's little children in this world and they ain't never had shit. Hungry as a motherfucker, our bellies out to hit. 8-year-olds who light up ganja smoke and blow it in the air. Skipping school, sniffing glue, tell me what's a kid to do? Never knew his father, so doing drugs became a ritual. It's pitiful, the way that we turn our backs upon our youth. Deprived of education, we're giving them guns and killing them shooting, that's the truth. We can't accept it or not. There's children suffering around the world, but we all rest in our spot. With big screen TVs, bumping shows about nothing, acting like we really give a shit, but we just frontin'. That's something self-righteous in the ways that we act. From politicians passing bills to rappers blazing on tracks, we need to react. So maybe we can stop and see the way that we conduct ourselves as self-fulfilling prophecies. Hail to the king and lots of love.
Mighty Ceej.
Woo!
Yeah. I was gigging with that.
Fire, more fire.
Was that mixed at Robbie Rowan's location? Mighty Ceej?
The legendary Robbie Rowe.
Was that?
Yeah.
Was that?
Echo.
I thought
Echo
so,
Studios.
man. I thought so. I remember when you were putting that together, man. That came together quite
Yeah,
swell.
that's a Rob.
That's a Rob Rowe.
Yeah, Robbie did that whole record. My
Yeah,
man.
Robbie's the truth. He's the truth, man. Yo, RapOet.
He is.
Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Was that a sample? Or I mean, was that like a live singer on the track with you, or a sample? It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a sample from an old reggae track that the producer.
You do that with a live band, man. That'd be crazy.
That joint was mixed in.
Yeah, my man Pokemon who was here last week to do that.
Yeah, right,
Oh, yeah.
Koki. Shout out Koki.
You know
That
Pokemon.
took me back to Jamaica.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Yo.
Yo, what you were saying though was brilliant, man.
Yeah, it felt
You knew why he wanted to play
Match-
that, right? You could tell.
the lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely. Made a lot of sense in this show. RapOet, you want to take us
It
out with
just
something?
stays
'Cause I got-
around. It's crazy. It's unfortunately, you know.
Yo,
I keep forgetting to wait for the time delay.
if I have y'all play something on Spotify, I make more dough, bro. But I'd
Yo.
rather end the freestyle on the ProQuo Show.
Oh,
You know how they do's. It's me, JCJ Cruz, coming through with Ceej, Double C, Jay-Z. backwards. I don't know what rappers. I'ma smack myself for acting like I knew that I would say that. But that's the beauty of freestyle. The elephant in the room. You never know what you're saying. It's the temple of doom, and I'm Indiana Jones grabbing something out my hat at the last minute, like an Egyptian rabbit. In fact, and you know if I go out with the freestyle off the dome rap, I gotta let Pro grab the mic and go off.
Oh, you know that,
Go
but
out
I'm
control.
switch. You know that, but I'm gonna switch back to the background and play some library tracks I got right now to put down the smackdown. That's J. Cruz B. He goes by Quo, and you know that he knows me because we go ProQuo back to back in the show. We do the promo on Thursdays in slow mo. Let them know we got the final fire. Then there's that smile. You gotta hear that smile track. I mixed it down a little while ago tonight, so it's just the rough draft. It's the same way in my class when they're doing their math. Yeah. Right. Check it out.
Drop the mic.
All right. Check it out here. Let's see. Hold on. I gotta always check here because it's a little funny here. I gotta make sure I got the audio clear. So I want y'all to hear Jay's verses on this. All right. I'm gonna mute y'all up. You gotta hear Jay on this. It's crazy.
Just to see my daughter smile. Disciples of the ancestors. Yeah, I base my whole life around this. We on that grown man music.
And the hook's gonna change.
Ain't no price around this. Real talk. Let me see that high fist though.
The hook's gonna get better.
Cruise. Look. To shine eternal in the journal is the bigger goal. Retire early possibilities. We grinding so you never know. Thoughts of having moms go to Florida anytime it's snow. Encapsulated in these vibrations. Life's domination. Not saying that I'm better than you. It's all patience. Understand you either grow or go. In that world, yourself is lacing. Jump in with jump balls. Real good with calculation. Pumping my whole eternal, turning off the moderation. Team hardly need mediation. It's on the sleeve, there's no exaggeration. I don't read, I bleed black and blue in the conversation. I thrive in these areas of great. The smoke clears every day. Check my operation. My time's filled out of filth, pulling out the gravitation. How it feel, being off your feet, higher levitation. I'm peeling fruit, sipping juice. Got my Eve after consummation. That's my river ever by my chest, the affirmation. Have my kids set me free. I believe that's the alteration. But where your faith at? Obsessing over complications. I'm pulling action out of whirlwinds, breathing over contemplations. And it just so happens me rapping is all basics. It's part-time beast mode, that full-time free throws. To see my daughter smile, riding through the vows, base my life around this. Ain't no price around this. We anoint the righteous, get you out the vice grips. Just to see my queen smile, riding through the vows, base my life around this. Ain't no price around this. We anoint the righteous. Let me see the high fist, just to see the fam smile, riding through the vows, base my life around this. Ain't no price around this.
Hip hop is giving me confidence, express myself publicly. I've done 1,000 shows, done run my own companies. Yeah, a lovely wife in my life, how she accompanied me through music like a vocals on tracks when they accompany. Been working hard for my queen, grind of a bumblebee, but now I teach the world through my words. Still it humbles me to hug my son once he wakes. His love comforts me, making it hard to hate on another, remaining ugly. Yeah, to be the best I can be, evolving culturally, involved in my community, living life more productively. See, ProQuo got a flow that's so brotherly, music so motivational, pull you through your recovery, view it.
Music so motivational, pull you through your recovery. Come on, my dude.
Trying to make it sound okay there with my little last minute mix job.
They get sneak peeks.
Throw some crypto on these people. You see the beautiful music they've been adorning your platform with tonight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Did you hear?
Hey, yo, you know it's funny too, Po. Yo, I got crypto in at least a couple songs. I talk about crypto.
Yeah, I know.
I can't remember the lines off top, but
there was actually a music cryptocurrency. It was called Music Coin, and I was in it. And it was like the answer to everything we're talking about in one thing.
Wow.
But like the founder just didn't take it seriously enough or whatever. But like for a minute, like it was everything we're talking about. Like, imagine the rates of Spotify and iTunes or whatever, but people could make them go up or down depending on how many artists was active that day.
But you know what, though? After this next wave, things like that are going to, I think there's going to be a whole nother,
I think so.
You know, what are these called? Litecoins, right? Everything underneath Bitcoin. So I think after they do this whole other halving, a whole nother wave is going to be put out. Yeah, man.
If you haven't heard that chapter 11 by my man RapOet, well, you can learn some of them finances, right? So, yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, let me give him a little snippet. We gotta get out of here though, but I'm gonna give him a little snippet. Check it out.
We'll end with that. RapOet.
I said, where the Washington go for the broke man, go down even more for Richmond. People in Professor Lyrical's area know what that is.
Richmond. Shout out Richmond, Virginia.
I hope I hit the audio here. Tell me if this is playing. Hold on. I'm gonna mute up in a second, but let me know if you hear this.
Yeah, we good.
Abundance in so many places I ain't noticed before, cause I mainly wasted my energy, money and time. So when I got more, I would just pay more fines, feeding addiction. Where the Washington go for the broke man, go down even more for Richmond. Start keeping your Joneses in check. Ain't trying to keep up with the Jones in debt. Now I'm in a different position, but I won't forget giving up my old attitude. I don't regret. Was self-righteous, talking about what I deserve before I earned it. An arrogant struggle with nerve to be a front, to say this is not enough. I got so much, I already got enough. To be a front, to say I don't want some more. Adore what I have so much, I got some more. Back when I thought I never had enough, I never had the stuff. Cause even when I had stuff, that was never enough. Meaning even when my numbers went up, I had it rough. No matter how I added it up, wasn't that enough? Listen, it's not what you giving, it's what you give. Instead of fly whip sitting in garages, my car's driven. Instead of talking about what I got, I'm living. When I'm involved, you get 100% commitment. So many men and women physically disabled, mentally unstable, in a miserable state when they try to come to the table. In their honor, I'ma do what they can't do. So I'm grateful to be ready, willing, and able. Energy go where attention flows. So when you lack it, it goes. When you have it, it grows. Amidst the cracks in the concrete, what I planted arose.
Yeah.
I like that little Tupac reference right there. You don't think I caught that?
He thinks you didn't catch that.
Rose growing in the concrete.
That Richmond.
Tupac's poetry.
Everybody be coming on this show, right? When we play that music, this is what they get. This is what the people getting. They just get that. The butane, the flame, the blue of the flame. Lift up your lighters, y'all. Great job, man.
Yo, thanks everybody coming through, man.
Both of y'all on here. Again, for sure.
Remember, whatever you do, 80 cents on $100.
Yo, hey, let me hit you with another one. 83 cents in the Futurama episode, right? I think the Futurama episode, maybe it was 93 cents in a Futurama episode. I play for my class all the time, talk about compound interest. And the dude Fry goes to the bank account. Some of y'all might have seen this. And it's in the future, and they have to dust off the ATM because he's like, yo, I stuck on my ATM card. Does it work? And they're like, they would dust off this, machine, and he puts it there. And I play it for my class, and I was trying to pull it up actually earlier. I got it there. It's actually there, but it's a cartoon. But I didn't want to show student names because they responded to it. And so he goes, how much money will I have now? And she's like, well, let's see, 93 cents at 6.5% for 1,000 years. That's beep. And I make the class guess how much it comes out to. And none of them guessed that it's in the billions, yo. It's like $4 billion, yo. You know what I mean? And it's like, how can that be possible? You know what I mean?
Billions.
Yeah, dog, it's just crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah.
83 cents on 100, y'all. Remember that number.
Yeah.
Hey, my phone about to chop off, y'all. But look at one love, y'all. We'll see y'all.
Yo, your verse is fire. I'm gonna go listen to some of your more music and put some of it on some of the playlists I do now. So let JC know that verse was fire. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and that's the other thing we didn't talk about. If you want these streaming platforms like Spotify, put some other artists on your playlist instead of just trying to get on other people's playlists. One of the cool things, you could be the first person to discover somebody, and that karma goes around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True indeed.
I've been having Pro Lyrical on the playlist, the Pitch and Flow playlist.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. I saw the pitch and flow. Well, we'll have to talk about that another time, man. Pitching and flowing. Yo, that was good stuff.
All day.
Ceej, man, I know you're back in the grind, man. Keep it up, man, as long as you can. But hopefully the end is near, man. I know it's getting closer every day. We're watching England, man, seeing how it's going.
We're in the final. We're in the final innings.
Yes, sir.
We're in the final innings. We just got to stay strong. It'll be a rough couple months, but
yes, sir.
Final
man.
innings.
All right, y'all. I thank you again.
Love.
Look forward to talking to y'all off this. Peace.
One.